Live on YouTube as well. Hello, everyone. It's an early morning. Been waiting 8 months for this. 8 months for this day. 8 months. Okay, all roads have been closed. She is being filled up right now. Alarm's going off. Good. We're on time for the stream. This is Boca Chica, Texas. Starship-3's launch. Previous two have blown up in midair. So we're about to find out what happens. It's an early morning launch. We have an early morning launch. SpaceX Starship-3 coming from Starbase. The FAA approved last night. The FAA approved this rocket launch last night. So we had a feeling they got pressured to approve it. Oh, really? Yeah, okay. Lots of energy, lots of electrical work goes into Starbase. I'm good friends with SpaceX's security director for Starbase in Boca Chica. I don't like talking about it because he's pretty high up. See, this is why would it explode? All of them have exploded upon launch. So this is going to be interesting. Their goal, I have a copy of the flight plan. The flight plan is going to send it up over Texas, and it's going to go over Cuba. And then what's going to happen is it's going to try to do a booster rocket landing, and then it's going to try to do a belly landing in the Indian Ocean out near Australia. MMR? Yeah, I will. He actually showed me his radio, the Moto Turbo radio, and it had the whole SpaceX logo on it and everything, and he's like, proof, bud, proof, yeah. Oh, Haley, they've all exploded. All of them have exploded. And this is Starship number 3. So this is the third launch for Starship. And this is a very fluid time. So you guys here, we have multiple cameras down there. It's getting filled up. You can see it there. It's actually, I'm gonna pull up something here. We'll have the big loop audio up in about 33 minutes. We should have big loops audio up. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the follow button, and share this out. What does SpaceX sell that they can afford the hundreds of millions for each launch? I mean, they reuse, so they save a ton, and it's not hundreds of millions for each launch. They have gotten it down to about 55 million, and with the payloads, the payloads are paying for the launch, and then the engineering behind it. So what happened is at about 13 minutes ago, the FD, the flight director, has confirmed that the poll is good. What they do is they take a poll of all of the flight controllers at their consoles, and it's go or no go. All of them have done go, which is why we see this. That steam is actually coming out. That is the liquid oxygen fuel as they begin to prep it. What we are going to see here is at T-minus 53 minutes, that's when they're going to start flowing in the actual ship's liquid oxygen fuel and also the liquid methane. So we're going to have at T-minus 53, the liquid oxy, and then at T-minus 51, the liquid methane. Also, what's going on? My Amazon's going nuts about an unexpected delivery. What the... Oh. Apparently they had something that was local and I don't have to wait now. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we have a couple of different views down here, guys. Hello from South Texas. Hello, hello. Caro, they've all have exploded upon launch. They have all exploded upon launch. And our time is correct. We sync this. We have an hour and 50-minute launch window. We have an hour and 50-minute launch window. Be sure to tap that screen, guys. Tap your screens. Tap your screens. Bunny, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Tap your screens here, guys. No, this is on the very south side. This is on the very south side. Yes, 7 Central. Yes, 7 a.m. Central Time. Exactly 1 hour left, guys. 1 hour until the launch window. Until the launch window opens. And then we have an hour and 50-minute launch window. Well, completely, Heather. Completely. You know, this is going to be one of this is going to be a heavy launch vehicle that we haven't had in quite a while. Will I be in the cone of viewing? Don't believe so. This is really Boca Chica. This is down at the Mexico border. If you're on the coastline, it could be possible. Yes, the coastline. Yeah, so this would be more of a coastal. You know, I know a good bit when we come out of the Cape. I don't know much about Boca. This is only the third launch ever from Boca Chica. So I'm not too familiar with who could and couldn't see it. Why could it likely explode? They're anticipating it to actually explode, just because when they're putting in items to test, they're doing it under real world conditions. They're not like there's no simulations. They don't put them through simulations. They do it and they send it up, and if it blows up, it blows up. The last 2 have blown up, so very possible that this one could blow up. They all have. Yeah, the last one, both times have ended in a massive fireball, one in the sky and one on the ground. What are they trying to achieve? They're trying to collect data that they need for the inertia systems of the largest rocket in the world right now. It's actually the tallest rocket in the world, and it's launching out of Texas. And what they want to do is collect as much data that they can from the flight systems to see what they need to do to get this thing to really work and fly. This isn't NASA. Living Water, this isn't NASA. This is SpaceX, a private company by Elon Musk. Because it's a private company, the starving, homeless, and jobless citizens have nothing to do with the private entity. Well, it's not funded by NASA money. Starship is not funded by NASA in any way. Starship is a private project. Yeah. The only time NASA and SpaceX come together is if there is a mission to the ISS. That's all it is. Even the launch complex out there at Kennedy Space Center is SpaceX property. Lord, you're getting banned for misinformation. It's not funded by... Because here's the thing, Artemis isn't going up in this. Artemis has nothing to do with Starship. Starship is completely separate. Yeah, Starship is completely separate. Artemis is using the SLS, which is the Space Launch System being designed by NASA. two very different things. Two very different things. Lots of... Okay, so I believe here we are starting to get... you guys can start to see the liquid oxy starting to rise up from the tanks on the right-hand side. This is not NASA. No, this is SpaceX. No, I did not, HD. They'll shut the live off after about 20 minutes of not seeing my face. So, yeah. How are these things happening every day? The richest man in the world. Weather is 70% favorable. Okay, so 70% favorable. The big loop will start in about 30 minutes. About 30 minutes. In about 30 minutes, we'll have the big loop audio. Like I told you guys, I don't sleep. I've been up all night. I don't sleep. Sleep is for the weak. Guys, tap that follow button. Hit the share button, guys. We got less than 55 minutes remaining to when the launch window opens. This does not mean exactly at T-minus 54 minutes and 43 seconds it's going to launch. That's when the launch window opens. The launch window is an hour and 50 minutes long. It means that we have from point A to point B to initiate a launch. Why could a rocket likely explode? They all have. There has not been a successful rocket launch. I didn't see the before one. What's the goal here? The goal here is to collect data so that way it can go back in to be used for the inertia systems, the tracking, stability and roll. It's 70% clear. There is a 70% go for launch as of right now, which I can easily pull up as well. It's no issue. Whoops. Okay. I am not an engineer, Hazel. No, I am not an engineer. Huh. K-Bro. I love that. The weather station, the weather service that is down in Brownsville is called K-Bro. K-Bro. No, this is Texas. This is Brownsville, Texas, down near Boca Chica. Down near Boca Chica, Texas. Down near South Padre Island, Cameron Park, Brownsville, Harlingen. Yeah, Dave, it likely is to explode. They all have. There hasn't been a successful one. Oh, hold on. Okay, we may have a pushback on the time by about 30 minutes. We may have a 30-minute... I'm trying to confirm right now. We may have a small delay here, guys. There's no one in it. We are... I am trying to confirm some information here. So just be aware, it may possibly be a small delay. But, like I said, this is the launch window. This is the launch window. Again, guys, tap the follow button, tap the shares, and hit the likes. Okay, I do have confirmation. We do have a 30-minute delay. The clock shall be updated. Okay. Okay, clock is now updated and synced here. So, Because, mind you, they want to get this done. They want to get it up in the air before the FAA says, hey, you're no longer allowed to launch. They want to get this thing done before that happens. Before that happens. Also, I am going to apologize to our friends on YouTube because I 110% forgot we were streaming out to YouTube. So if there's anyone in chat, give me a second. I'm pulling up chat there. I totally feel bad. I forgot about our friends on YouTube who's watching the simulcast. I feel very, very, very bad. I just looked down at the encoder and saw we were on air on YouTube. So, my bad. My bad to all of you. Faith, hello, Faith. I am so sorry that... Hello, Tetons. Hello, hello. I apologize. I totally forgot that we were streaming out to YouTube. My apologies. My apologies. So, I'm pulling up our TFR. Ooh, here you guys go. We can actually see some thermal. You can actually look at the thermal here. So we have some thermal on there. We do have the TFR up. Yep, we have the NOTAM in place here. Rocket! Rocket go burr! Dun, 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 dun. It says here... Space operations... No pilots may operate an aircraft in the areas covered by this NOTAM, except all aircraft operations are prohibited. From the surface up to unlimited. So yes, yeah. I feel that this is probably an 8 out of 10 for explosion. Maybe a 7 out of 10. 7 or 8 out of 10 for explosion. Pretty confident on that explosion there. Why do you say explode? Because they all have exploded. They have all exploded. Okay. So we have the 1 hour, 50-minute window. The launch window will open at 7 a.m. Central Time, which is in about 48 minutes. Is this real? Yes, it is. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Heather. You guys are super awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No one's inside, no. Showdown. And see, no, I'm drinking cream soda. I am drinking cream soda. It's not bad for you in the early morning hours here. If you don't like AC/DC, you can leave the stream. AC/DC is badass, buddies. If you don't like AC/DC, then I don't know. You got something wrong with you. Why did they add more time? We have a launch window. That launch window allows for any time from then to the end, from the start to the end, to launch the rocket. And mind you guys, TikTok has an issue with their audio because it's barely playing in my ears, even with the slider the whole way up. TikTok has a massive issue with their audio for live streams. Send it! Send it! This is SpaceX, yes. 70% favorable for the forecast. We are 70% favorable for the forecast. This is Elon's rocket. Yes, it is. I need my mouse. I need my mouse. Yeah, we're just over here. I'm trying to see what we need to do for all of you. Oh, hi. I'm gonna end you. Let's look here. Mr. Chrome. There is. Yes, there is a launch today. Yes, there is. Yes, there is a launch today. I'm about to sneeze. I hate that. I hate that we're about to sneeze. So, launch window opens at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. It's a 110 minute it's a 110 minute launch window. So anytime within that 110 minutes, yes, it could definitely launch. We'll have Big Loop audio up here very soon. We'll have Big Loop audio up. Da-da. Ba-da. I'm trying to see something here. Okay. That's what I was looking at. Here we go. There we go. Let's try that. Okay. Thank you for the follows. HD, thank you for the ICU. Heather, thank you. Clint, thank you. Camo, thank you. And Tim, thank you, guys. Saw those come across. Thank you, thank you. What? So this is a rocket launch out of Boca Chica, Texas. This is Boca Chica, Texas. It's on a very southern tip there. We have what is going to be an experimental rocket launch of the largest rocket in the world as of right now, which is known as Starship, done by Elon Musk himself, which... Chase, thank you for the rose, buddy. Your first gift, thank you. Chase, thank you very much, bud. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Curious if NASA's 4K HD coming in with the Galaxy. That's too early in the morning, girl. That is too early in the morning. But thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Watching the stream from Houston. Thank you for all the updates. No problem at all. No problem at all. Oh wow. Look at the if you guys can see that there. That is the sun. That is the sun. That's insane. That is insane. Aw, well, thank you, HD. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's cool. It is very, very cool. I'm going to do this though. YouTube. I'm not logging in. There we go. Yeah, this is one of their tests here. We got the post up for the background. We got the post up. I guess they're gonna be down there doing this as well. So we'll have the post up. Why did it go up for the timer? So they have their they have their launch window. Sorry, my nose is here. So they have their launch window, which opens at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and what happens is that it could launch anytime from then. This is our best estimate as to when it will launch. Yeah, so give me 1 second. We're good. We are good. It has not launched now. See the T minus. Once it hits 0, that should be when our launch window will open. That'll be when our launch window will open. This is my last piece. How are you this morning? We're good. We're good. Squiggly, you are welcome, guys. If you like this type of content, tap that follow button. Tap the like button. And let's get the show on the road. We're 70% go for launch. We're at 70%, which is absolutely fantastic. We later today, we're going to be fully installing our new network system. Brought to us by Flytech Computers. Actually, a awesome company based out of Doral, Florida, down near Miami. And a lot of people, they know me for space and news and IT. And I kind of do a mosh pit there. And with all these hack attempts going on, we decided to upgrade our studio network. I agree, HD, I agree. We decided to upgrade our studio network with a new router and some new access points from Ubiquiti, and found out that they actually have, they're giving away free routers now at Flytech Computers. Super, super awesome if you're a Ubiquiti head. They're giving everything away from a UDM up to a UDM SE. Where is this Texas launch? Boca Chica, Texas. Down at the tip of Texas. Down at the tip of Texas. No, it's not Mad Breaks. No. No, it's you buy the access points, they give you a free router. If you get 5 nano HDs, you get a UDM. If you get 8 nano HDs, you get a UDM Pro for free, and then for $100 more, you get the UDM SE. So it's a really good deal, and the security Ubiquiti has, because like when I was covering the AT&T and Meta stuff, so many people thought the AT&T outage was caused by hackers, and the Meta outage was caused by hackers. Ugh, hacker ransom? Yeah, not good. Not good. SPI. Hello, hello. What's all the smoke? That there is going to be your liquid oxygen fuel. It evaporates, so it's constantly being pumped in. Great question, great question. So yeah, it's that's what we're doing, and we're actually upgrading. We're gonna have internet faster than NASA. By the end of the weekend, we're gonna have internet faster than NASA. NASA has 91 gigabits per second. We're gonna be at around 99 to 100 gigabits per second, which is absolutely fantastic. We have actually special fiber just for that. Tell you the stocks. You wouldn't want to be in that much liquid oxygen. You definitely wouldn't want to be in that much liquid oxygen. Rocket is, no, not Starlink, Starship. This is a Starship launch. And this is in Boca Chica, Texas this is the southern tip of Texas. Very, very, very southern tip of Texas. Guys, be sure to tap that follow button, hit the share button, and tap those likes. Get those likes coming on in. I will admit that the landing we had on Tuesday was fantastic. Why would you say it could explode? Because they're planning for it to explode, if you didn't know. Starship has never had a successful, like, completely successful. It's always ended in an explosion. It's never succeeded to not explode. That's why it's likely. Yeah, San Antonio, I don't believe so. You can always try. The issue is if the sun's gonna be up by then, from what I believe, and it's not gonna be as viewable as, say, a nighttime launch. For example, the astronauts landing on Tuesday. Timer needs to go faster. Heather and HD, thank you again. Chase, thank you as well. Bob, thank you for the follow there, buddy. Thank you, thank you. I forgot to toss these back up here. There we go. Thank you, thank you. How much will the internet so I own the internet. I am an ISP, so it's a little bit different. We have, you have you have a couple different types of internet connectivity. You have transport, you have transit. You guys have transit, which is basically you're running off of your ISP's core backbone. Whereas where we're transport. So we basically have quite a bit, Mad Breaks, quite a bit. Transport is, imagine a big pipeline, a big highway, a big tunnel, and it takes you from point A to point Z, which is what we call, because sometimes you have to go through data center to data center, and then we connect into what we call an internet exchange point, which is where, like, so Comcast, for example, they have a national backbone, but they actually offload to tier ones that you likely have never heard of, and we connect directly to them, so we cut out all the middlemen. And honestly, for a 100 gig pipeline, we could get it down to about $4,000 a month, which, if you were to go back 10 years, that would be almost probably $90,000 a month. And now the price is down to $4,000 a month just for 100 gig. It's super cheap now. Super, super cheap. Well, so the rocket is on the right side of your screen there. Once we get closer, we'll clean up the entire screen. Right now, we're in a holding for the launch window, and we should have the big loop coming up very soon. Bro, you sound just like Joe Rogan. Hello. No way. Are you serious? For the longest time, I did not know Joe Rogan was the host of Fear Factor. I just found that out a couple months ago, and I was like, that's Joe Rogan? You can call me stupid. I never knew he was Fear Factor, dude. Why would the rocket explode though? So this rocket has never been exactly here. Oh, I can't move it down any further. I was trying to move it down further. My apologies. I was trying to move it down further and it did not want to go. That's lovely. But there. So it never actually successfully fully launched. Like, it exploded in midair and then on the ground twice. This is the third test. This is an experimental one. That's why we've been waiting for this for like 8 months now. And they just got approval last night to actually launch this candlestick. So it's super, super. Thank you, HD. I don't know why the pornography accounts come in at this hour. Maybe they think men are lonely. I don't know. Rockets are complicated. Yeah, so is rocket science. But for some, it's kind of easy. So it's a plus for each one of them. This is a heavy launch vehicle, so this could build up habitats. This could build up depots in space. This could build up floating bases from here to Mars. That's what they're planning on using this for, is to create an outpost between Earth and Mars. And the moon. You know, tip the dip. It's hard to say because we're at sunrise. We don't know much of the viewing angles for Texas. That's a big thing. We don't fully know. We have a rough idea, but it's not exact. Blues Girl, thank you for the roses. They are, so someone brought up the 33 Raptor engines. So they're going to kill the engines. If this gets into orbit, they're going to kill the engines. And then they're going to reignite the engines in space, which is a massive feat. Here we go. You can start to see the rocket there, guys. You may laugh, but that is the rocket on thermal. That's the rocket on thermal. Oh, 1 second. I got to log in to get our feed through SpaceX here. Okay. And there is going to be a launch later today, guys. There is going to be a launch later today. It was scrubbed from last night. If you're in Florida, there's going to be another launch. If you're in Florida, there will be a launch at 7:04 with backup opportunities until 10:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So from 7 to 11, basically, 7-11, you can laugh, Florida's going to see a massive rocket launch again. That was Clocks by Coldplay. I always think of Grey's Anatomy when I hear Coldplay. O'Malley. George. Speaking of Grey's Anatomy, I just saw someone in here called O'Malley. George O'Malley. Most likely not. Kansas, that was for the re-entry. We do a lot of launches a year, yes. Oh my God, right? Like Detroit, like, guys, if you look at a map, it's still like within that circle of streets. Like, calm down. It's not like 3 counties over. Can this hurt someone? Yes, it can hurt the fishes. If this falls out of the sky, you know, it could technically fall onto an oil platform and then we have another Deepwater Horizon incident. But, you know, you're going to be placing bets at that point. It'd be like shooting fish in a barrel almost. Are you going to hit one or not? It's loud. Yeah, the roads have been shut down in the area. Guys, tap that follow button. Tap that share. Jen, thank you for the rose. Thank you. Yeah, lots of fuel. This thing's tall. This thing's absolutely huge. Apocalypse. And so the Florida one, they're actually going to have a drone ship in the ocean. It's not going to land back on at the Cape. I wished it would, Blues Girl, thank you for the finger hearts. Thank you, thank you. When's it gonna launch? Our launch window is opening very soon. Our launch window opens very soon. We are hoping that it will. We're not going to have an issue upon launch. Again, guys, just tap your screens, and hit the follow button here. Helps me out, allows me to be able to do this full time and give you guys the content needed. Thank you for all the gifts. Thank you, thank you. Vandenberg's going to be coming up here in, I think, about 2 weeks. I don't like to cover Vandenberg launches because they seem to never actually launch. They seem to always scrub, and then they scrub at the damnedest hours, and I miss them, and I feel bad. Well, if you live in the area, Ian, Starship, the 2 that have went up have both failed. They've all exploded, so this has a 0 out of 2 track record of being successful, so the odds are stacked against it. You can laugh at the pun about stacking. You can laugh. Yes, it is 7:36 a.m. here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on the East Coast, EST. Launch window opens at what would be 8 a.m. Eastern time, which is about 24 minutes. It's when the launch window will open. This is in Central Time. Yes, Pittsburgh, yes. Live out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Guys, tap that follow button here. We are having a chill. We're having a chill broadcast here. We're waiting for the SpaceX link to come up over here on our end. And then we'll be able to tap that in. And then we'll do our cuts as needed, which I believe our cuts are ready. I could be wrong. In fact, yeah, they are wrong. We need it down there. Cool, cool. Okay. I think we're good now. Minnesota, no, this is going to be a Gulf of Mexico. This is Gulf of Mexico. Okay, guys, so we are nearing where the locks will begin to load in. Hopefully, we're hopeful that this will go off. Hopefully we're not going to have an issue. Hopefully we are good for launch. I'm watching multiple feeds over here, and we appear that we should be coming near locks load very soon. This is in Texas, guys. This is in Texas. Tap your screens. Tap your screens. We are nearing the final moments for launch preparation. We are nearing the final moments for launch preparation. This is a test. They're actually going to launch, but in theory, it's a test. It's an experimental launch. So that's why it's likely to explode. It's an experimental launch. This is going to go up over the Gulf of Mexico, over Cuba, over Haiti, and it's expected to land in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Australia. So we are just waiting upon confirmation that LOX loading is underway for the ship. Booster LOX load will commence 11 minutes after the ship begins to fill. Well, if it hits land, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. It's bad. We don't want that. We don't want that to happen. That would be bad. That'd be very, very, very bad. Guys can see here. That's where the liquid oxy fuel will be flowing in, is roughly right in this area here. That's where it's going to be loading in. But yes, it will have cameras. Yes, I'm pretty sure it will have cameras. Yes. What was it? Okay, we're good. Okay. I was looking, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. I thought the timing had went back up. I was about to say, oh crap! No, I hope I don't gotta make this announcement. So I set that down. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. So we are just awaiting all of this right now, guys. That's what we are doing. We are awaiting this right now. So, fun fact, this is a song called Countdown by Rush, band from back in the 70s and 80s. This song was actually made for the launch in celebration of the Columbia Space Shuttle launch. Little did they know that Columbia would meet its fate and explode over East Texas and Louisiana February 1st, 2003, which killed all astronauts on board. If you don't know that, that's shockingly, this song was made decades prior to that and dedicated to that shuttle. Hello, Totens. Hello, hello. So you just jinxed this launch. No, we know what's going to happen. I think we'll get to probably Starship 5 or 6 before we see a fully successful one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong. The issue is they're not doing any changes they make. They wait to do on the very next run. There's a lot that needs to be done on this. Exactly, Cashin, exactly. It's a prototype launch. This is an experimental launch vehicle. Okay, so we should be getting fuel loading into this now. You know, Matt, how much does one of these cost? So Starship as a whole here, we don't have an exact amount. We don't have an exact amount, to be honest with you. That's a thing. SpaceX with like Starlink launches and all that. We have a fairly good idea. Okay, so the SpaceX is doing something. They just unpinned. SpaceX has just unpinned their Starship post. So I think they're getting ready to come on with the big loop feed. So we are getting closer here. Well, so the Raptors are supposed to be reused. The Raptors are huge. Like, those are the one single Raptor is huge. 33 of them going in a honeycomb like formation on the inside of the base. Like, this rocket, this view of the rocket does not even account for how big of a launch vehicle this truly is. So that's what we have. We're awaiting the feed here. Okay. Okay, so I do have confirmation. The mission control feed will be up in time just changed. Thank you. 12 minutes. 12 minutes we'll have the mission control feed beginning. We'll have it at 12 minutes. And guys, if you're new here, tap that follow button, hit the share, and tap your screens to get this post going. Get it boosted up here. Pun on the boost. This is something that you are witnessing history. Early back in the day, they would actually strap, thank you, HD, for the ICU. Thank you, thank you. Back in the day, and I'm talking back in the 50s, they didn't have rockets made for space, technically, for NASA. They didn't have specialized astronaut rockets. What they would do is they'd strap someone to the top of the rocket that they used for ICBMs for the nuclear defense, for against Russia. And that was the initial space program, A lot of people don't realize that. And so we lost the space shuttle. That program's completely gone. So this is one of the only ways to be able to launch heavy items into space. Shuttle did really good work with the payload doors. They're going to be testing the payload doors today, actually. And here's the thing. That's why I said it's likely to explode. There's a lot that could go wrong. They are testing so much stuff. And instead of them waiting 4 to 12 months in between launches to test stuff, they're testing everything they can so that way they can fix a slew of issues in the next run instead of great, we narrowed down this issue, now we have this issue, now we have that issue. They want to see, basically, they're at a poker table and they show the hands, and they show the hand to the house and say, here we go, here's what we got. That's a big thing. And so SpaceX, as we can begin to see, they are flowing the oxygen, they are flowing the fuel in. It's what the white lines are going up. They are flowing in, so it looks like we are go for launch. No tax money's involved in this. No tax money is involved. This is a completely private adventure through SpaceX. The only time tax money would be used is once it is in production. This is all Elon Musk. Elon is basically the richest guy in the world, and he wants to use reusable fuel. So what you guys are seeing there is on the left side of your screen is actually the pressurized fuel system, and it's much hotter, and by the time it reaches the rocket, it's very, very cold. Is everybody CA girl, thank you. Yeah, this is all private. If someone wants to complain about taxpayer money, maybe you should look at Congress and the House of Representatives trying to ban this very app you're watching this stream on, all because they don't like the truth being spread. They don't like free speech. They don't like, they're trying to censor us and what we do here. That's where money is going to waste, is in our government. This is for the humanity of Earth and humans, being able to explore so much. There's no data going to China. There is no data going to China whatsoever. I own my own ISP. I own a piece of the internet that can't be taken away. I own a physical piece of the internet, and we have access to everything. It's not going to China. There's nothing in China. Meta sells your data the most. Meta has had the biggest data breaches. When's the last time TikTok had a data breach? Think about that. When's the last time TikTok had a massive data breach? But Facebook is constant. Facebook's constant. Exactly, Squiggly, exactly. When's the last time you heard TikTok having a data breach or a hack? Meta is an enemy of the people. Meta has been involved in election fraud. Meta has been involved in so much bullcrap. Not to mention the source code was stolen by Mark Zuckerberg while he was in college. And he did some probably unruly things just to get out of that loophole of a mess. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm going to be honest. Do I like ByteDance owning TikTok? No, because I've gotten screwed over by them as a contracted partner. I'm not a fan of ByteDance, you know? And I truly think that they could do what Nintendo did. Have a TikTok of America, because I'll tell you what, monetization for us partners is not available everywhere. Canada is only allowed so many types of GIFs. So if you go on like Tom who was in the same partner agreement as me with Emily, Canada only is allowed to do certain things. They are highly regulated. America, that's where the advertisers are, is here in America. So people saying, well, TikTok's never going to sell. That's their entire business is America. It's not China. So they're going to do what they can and need to do to come here to the U.S. fully. But the servers are here. We have access to them. We have direct access to their servers. New York City, Miami, Ashburn, Virginia, Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, and Los Angeles. There's a few private institutions that they're peered with, but I have direct access to their root servers, so I see where all the data is going, and it's not China. Exactly. They don't like the news directly. Here's the thing. How many times have you seen something on TikTok, especially by me? I'm not here to brag, but I'm a journalist. I worked for CBS News for many years. I left CBS News. Dave Bondi was NBC News. Me and Dave still talk. Dave left, and we do this independently on TikTok. And it's absolutely fantastic. How many times have you seen news through your For You page that took days for mainstream media to cover? Thank you, Cave. Thank you for that. Yeah, exactly. You know, and here's the thing. I don't understand why, like, yes, China is a threat, but they need to look at the whole thing. Because China owns the United States practically. We're in debt to them trillions of dollars. We're never going to get out of debt with them whatsoever. China owns the U.S. So, you know, it sounds to me like they're trying to do what they can to stick the debt to China. That's my big thing, and that's the other one is AI. They don't like TikTok's algorithm. Here's the issue, though. I have to censor myself when I say some of this stuff, but they complained about TikTok sharing unaliving video, like inspirational quotes, but yet Meta, they would allow child touching videos and stuff to be shown. They would prompt the user, warning, this may contain child XXX. Would you like to continue? Would you like to continue? Yeah, they allow people to continue to child touching videos. And that's Facebook for you. That's Meta, and no one's questioning them whatsoever. No one's, yeah. Because Facebook don't have CSAM. You know, as an ISP, what we do is we have tools that are built into our core network that basically, it's not that we collect your data, like we don't sniff packets. We do web hosting and stuff like that. And we have programs through some of our DNS providers that if someone was to upload a child photo or video of said nature to us and we are now hosting it, we get a notification and it tells us the location of the file, and it also is sent to the National Center for Children and Missing and Exploited Children. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. What we have to do is we have to quarantine that file. So what we have to do is we have to null root it first, and then we have to basically then wait for the National Center to contact the FBI. The FBI will either call us or show up with a flash drive and say, we need all the information, we can get a warrant, or you could just give it to us. And that's how CSAM works. Facebook doesn't do that. They don't have CSAM enabled. So, you know, Instagram is a big one. You know, and there's a lot of talk. So we do have we're gonna find out, but we may have had a small delay again, guys. We may have had a small delay. Yeah, we they did push this back. We do have a small delay. I'm gonna be updating the timing now. So give me a moment. I gotta do some maths. I gotta do some quick maths. Okay, and then we should be at. Give me a second. I'm trying to do this the right way. I think this is correct. I gotta see here. Yes. Okay, my math was right. My math was correct. This is not NASA. Just saying, this is not NASA, guys. This is not NASA whatsoever. And you guys can see here that they did start to fill the rocket, and they did pull back. It's not that bright white anymore on the base of the rocket. Yvonne with a good morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Elon Musk isn't a liar. People just don't like Elon because he's rich. Elon's a very down-to-earth guy, and he made a lot of people fairly wealthy, including me, when he pushed Dogecoin. Why is the time going up? It's because we have a launch window. So this launch window is till 9:50 a.m. Eastern time. So we have till 9:50 a.m. Eastern time to launch this candle. He's actually tweeted out to me on Twitter several times, and that was back when me and Matt Wallace were pretty big on Dogecoin and cryptocurrency. Fun fact, with my money I made from Elon Musk, I bought an Audi. No joke. I just also found out I had $30,000 in cryptocurrency I kind of forgot about. I'm also a little scared to pull it out, though, because I don't want the IRS to come for me, so I'm just letting it sit over there in Binance. Forgot I had it over there because Dogecoin, it's just like they locked it at like $800. What happened is that was all Dogecoin and a slew of other coins that just basically sat there. Yeah, I did a video on it. It was on my Discord. I logged in. I about crapped my pants. I was like, what the hell? This is a new SpaceX rocket. Yes, it is. Yes. Thank you, Damien, for the support. Thank you. PI? What do you mean PI? Thoughts on PI? Guys, tap that follow button here. We're going to go through this again. So a lot of people I see are saying, how and why is this going to explode? They haven't had a successful launch of Starship. This is an experimental prototype rocket. This is a prototype rocket. That's why. So, yes, the time is fluid. This is a dynamic clock. What it means when I say dynamic clock is that it changes based upon what Mission Control is seeing on their end. If they have a storm cloud come over, it gets delayed. If they see something not right with a sensor, they delay it until they fix the issue. So we have until 9:50 a.m. So we have less than 2 hours. This is a go or no go. But we're having a good morning, guys. We are over here. We are chilling, loving all of you, talking about the TikTok ban, talking about NASA and SpaceX. Why so much smoke? So that there is your liquid oxygen. That's what fills. That's actually the oxidizer. That's the fuel for the rocket. I don't think it will scrub because they had to do a lot to get this to be approved to fly last night. The FAA yesterday afternoon approved this launch. This has not been like, we knew that they filed paperwork for it, but the government was just like, okay, if you want to launch, you could do it tomorrow and only tomorrow. They only gave a one-day launch, and it was for these 2 hours. So they got to do what they got to do, okay? They got to do what they got to do. And just so you guys know, if you are in Florida, there will be a launch tonight. It will launch from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Timing's a little off. It's 7:04 to 10:40, but I say 7 to 11. If you're in Florida, you'll be able to see the launch. If you're in Florida, you'll be able to see the launch tonight. It's not a CGI launch. I've personally been down to the Cape many times for many launches. Yeah, no, it's not a CGI launch, bud. I don't know where some of these weird conspiracy theories come from. It's not clickbait. What are you doing to click on? I'm not having you click on anything. How is it clickbait? It's not clickbait in any way. I'm just muting you guys. My mods are going to start muting people. Absolutely insane. Yeah, the flat earthers have arrived in chat. Oh, the Pi crypto coin. Oh my God, Pi. Pi, you used to be able to do it on your phone and stuff. I never made any money from Pi, being honest. I'ma ping my Discord. No worries, I'ma ping the Discord. King Mummy, thank you for the disco love. Grace, thank you. Yvonne, OG, CA girl, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my God, now we got the conspiracy theories in the chat. Oh my goodness. Correct, Jackal. Yes, this is a dynamic clock. This is a dynamic clock, and that is because if there's a sensor that they don't like what it's reading, they delay the launch. If there's a storm cloud overhead, they delay the launch. This is a launch window. As I have said, the launch window has been from now. This is when the launch window originally opened, was from now for 110 minutes. For 110 minutes. Mercer, hello. Live streaming out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Correct. Yes, this is the same rocket side by side. The left actually is the thermal. I believe that they are venting it out. I believe that's why it's super bright white now. Believe it's super bright white, which is your colder temperatures. It's about 10 to 11 degrees Celsius. So I believe they're venting that out. They're going to refill. Well, actually, no. Because at T-minus 53 minutes is when they begin to fill. Thank you, Eddie. I see you in here, buddy. Thank you, thank you. So, guys, tap that follow button here. Okay, it said we got an update here. Shifting T-minus 0 a few more minutes to give boats time to clear the keep out area. Now targeting 8:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, guys, 9:10 a.m. Eastern Time. 9:10 a.m. So, 1 hour and 7 minutes. 1 hour and 7 minutes. Apparently, some boats. There have been some boats that busted the keep out zone. Some fishermen have took boats into the area where the rocket could explode and come down, so they have to shift the T-minus to get those boats out of the way. The Navy is out there right now trying to get them out of the way. It is shrimp season, so yes, but the Navy is now out there. The Navy is now out there. I was at a launch in Florida a couple years ago, and what happened is a cruise ship decided to come close to the Cape for the rocket launch, and they were directly downrange from the rocket, so the launch got scrubbed because a cruise ship decided to sit off the coast to watch it. So, tap that follow button, guys. So happy. Thank you for the heart me. Beaver, thank you for the roses. Fiona, thank you. Not now, Patrice, thank you. King Mummy, thank you again. HD, thank you. And everyone else involved. So, guys, a little bit of a recap. There's about 1,000 of you in here. What we have going on right now is this is Starship. This is a prototype experimental heavy launch vehicle privately funded without taxpayer money. That is the largest rocket in the world right now. It's going to be launching out of Texas. This has been in the works for many months, and it just got approved last night to fly today. There's a high likely chance that this could explode for the simple fact is that this is a prototype. The two previous ones have exploded, one in midair, one on the ground. And so there's a lot of preparations underway. We're about 58 minutes away from the expected launch time. The launch time would be much less, but unfortunately some fishermen decided to cut through an area they wasn't supposed to. So the Navy's out there. They're going to begin filling this here in about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. The sun is also rising up, guys. You can see that if you've been in this live stream here. We've been live for over an hour. You would know that it was very grainy and we didn't have that clear of a picture, but we now have a very clear picture of the amazing Starship-3 prototype sitting on the launch pad in Boca Chica, Texas, down near Brownsville. So, there is a launch since there's 1,000 of you. Florida will be able to see a launch today. Florida will be able to see a launch today. The launch will take place from Cape Canaveral Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral, Florida. It will be launching from the Cape at between 7:04 p.m. Eastern Time and 10:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., there will be a huge Starlink launch off of the Cape. So be prepared for that. The booster will not be landing back at the Cape, but on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean known as a shortfall of Gravitas. So we have 2 launches today. The one you are watching right now is Texas. The second one will be from Cape Canaveral, Florida. That one is tonight. Neither of those are going to have crews aboard. This one is a prototype, so there's no astronauts on board. The Starlink one is going to be launching some older generation satellites for the Starlink constellation. Again, thank you, Christopher, for the lightning bolts. Tammy Tornado, thank you for the rose. Dad Advice, thank you. You guys are super awesome. Be sure to tap the follow button, tap the like button, and share this out as we get very near a possible launch here. And we are almost at 230,000 followers. We are nearing our first goal of 250,000 followers on my profile. For those who are new here, my name is Austin Ayers. I am an independent journalist. I previously worked for CBS News. I've been featured at NBC, CBS, Good Morning America. Did a lot within extreme storm chasing, which was, I loved it so much. I really loved it. I own my own internet service provider company, so I'm also big into IT. So if you like the content of space, breaking news, severe weather, and IT, then this is the channel for you. We have a long shot away coming in now, as you can see here. Have a long shot of the view. Evasive Zach, yes I do, because actually the end of this weekend we are deploying internet that's faster than NASA. NASA has 91 gigabit per second internet speed. We're launching 100 gigabit per second. Hello HD, no problem at all, no problem at all. So you guys are going to see those videos as well. This stream is brought to you by Flytech Computers, because I tell you what, guys, with all of the recent hack attempts going on, you guys saw people were thinking the AT&T was a hack, the Meta outage was a hack. Absolutely insane. And so we are upgrading our studio network here, our firewall, to find out if you buy access points through Flytech, they actually give you a free firewall and router, Ubiquity. Super, super awesome. I did a video on it because no one wants hacked, and finding out that they have some pretty damn good firewalls, and they're like, yeah, just buy the access points. Here you go. Here's a free $500 router. I was like, yeah, we're doing that in studio, hands down. Yes, the extreme. Yes. I am the owner of Interceptor 1. I am the owner of Interceptor 1. Interceptor 1, by the end of the year, which will be ready for hurricane season, it's going to have a direct connection to all three major cellular carriers. We're also going to have 6 gigahertz capabilities on that, and also Starlink capabilities. It's going to be a complete remote media uplink vehicle. So guys, we are nearing here. Mission Control audio will be up momentarily. Mission Control audio is coming in very, very soon. So again, guys, going over this, there's a high likely chance that this rocket will explode. This is Starship. It is a experimental prototype. We are not playing this song because I know Limp Bizkit. I don't want to get banned. So this is going to likely explode. There's been no 100% successful launches of this prototype. This is the third launch of the prototype. This is out of Boca Chica, Texas, privately funded, not with taxpayer money, by Mr. Elon Musk himself. And this will be launching over the Gulf of Mexico. Later tonight, there will be a massive rocket launch coming out of Cape Canaveral, Florida. So if you live in Florida, if you look up at the sky, you're going to see a huge rocket. No, it wasn't a Kanye song. That was a Limp Bizkit song. Two very different. So, again, guys, tap the follow button here. We do have SpaceX ready to go here, which I'm going to look at something here. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. So, cool. Okay. So, we do have our front and left displays, which are, as long as SpaceX gives us those views, which they should, then we'll be able to bring that to you here. As you see, their media feed is going to be coming up momentarily from Mission Control. SpaceX Mission Control. Christopher, thank you. Rick Talk, thank you. Gina, thank you. Kat, thank you. Just saw those all come across. So, typically what we've noticed is within a few minutes after launch is when these rockets explode. King Mummy, thank you again. Again, guys, tap your screens, tap that share button, hit the follow button. That way you get put into these. I try to cover every single space launch. And on Tuesday, we actually had 128,000 plus people in this live stream at 4:30 in the morning Central Time as astronauts came flying across America. Everyone in the middle of America saw this huge space capsule come flying down and land 20 miles off the coast of Louisiana. So many people saw that, and the news didn't cover it. I was the only one to cover it, and people at that time were like, yeah, sure, it's going to happen. And I actually brought up the thermals for that. And, yeah, it was real. I'm very credible. I do this full time. I wouldn't lie to people. I would not lie to people for any reason. So we are just awaiting some latest updates from SpaceX. You saw it there from Mississippi? Exactly. Told you. Told you. Do you ever sleep? No, I do not. I don't sleep. I have committed myself to not sleeping. So many entrepreneurs. Fun fact, Elon Musk actually created his own internet service provider company around my age, which is what I'm doing now. He doesn't sleep. You know, we take these like 3 to 4 hour naps, and then we go for another 12 hours. We take like a 3 to 4 hour nap and then another 12 hours. And that's why I am always up. I am doing this completely straight off coffee and energy drinks. Exactly. Exactly. You know, it's one of those things, and I found out that sleep schedule was actually designed for the B-2 bomber pilots, the B-2 Spirit bomber pilots. They would take these 2 to 4 hour cat naps, so that way they were always ready to go for a 12-hour mission to fly out to the Middle East to drop some bombs. Did not know that until later on in life. Oh, yeah, truckers. I mean, truckers, you guys have you drive for 8 hours, got to take a 30-minute break, and then you could drive for another 3 hours or 4 hours, then you got to take your resets. My friend is a CDL trucker, and I give you credit. I mean, EDLs help a ton. I could not imagine the old school logbooks that you'd have to do, because that's insane. And I know if you're regional, you don't need to run logbooks. I was like, man, if I ever get a CDL, I'm going to go regional, because then I don't got to deal with the logbooks or the EDL and call it done. King Mummy, exactly. That is very true. That's extremely, extremely true. And I don't know. I'm thinking of introducing a program on how to make money on TikTok, because if it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't be able to have a massive ISP that is doing fiber interconnections all over the United States. TikTok has really helped me along that line, and it's a gold pit, being honest, just sitting out there, and people really don't know about it. Like, we have mastered the algorithm. If you look at my account now, promoted content, I'm noticing promoted content in itself, like from TikTok Shop, they don't push it as much just because it's TikTok Shop. But if you look at my profile, everything has a ton of views on it and comments. I mean, the analytics are purely there. And being honest, I mean, so many people, TikTok's not a job. Content creation, it took me about 2.5 years to get to where I am to be stable and do this content full time and really grow. I try to push on YouTube, like we're up here, CJ, Smith for Jesus, T-Tones, you guys are over on YouTube watching, so I tried to grow the YouTube, but I tell you what, TikTok, I mean, over the summer where the ad rates are the highest, I was pulling in about 12 to 16,000 per month. About $12,000 to $16,000 per month, just on TikTok. And I can tell you what, I worked at a hospital. I was in critical care nursing. I was a senior PCT there, and I was a dual job between the emergency department and the ICU. And I was only making a tiny fraction of that for working 40 plus hours a week with OT and a bonus on top of that. So this here, there's a gold pit on TikTok, and I have mastered the algorithm. I was a partner for a long time. I still hold a partnership with TikTok, but it's not as strong. And that is what I do. That's what I do best here. So, believe they are going to start the fueling process right now. If you guys want, if you're interested in the TikTok course there that I'm thinking of possibly launching, join the Discord. We have about 1,500 people in the Discord. It's click on the link in my bio. It's my website. Click the menu, and it's right there, my Discord. Or you can go to discord.gg. Good game. Discord.gg/breaking news. And that's where I'll probably announce the TikTok campaign. So, you know, a lot of people talk about the ban happening. So it's not that the app itself would get banned. It would be the ByteDance involvement would get banned. TikTok would, if they need to, either create a company in the United States and keep it going, or they would sell it off to someone. Now, Kevin O'Leary, while he is Canadian, O'Leary Ventures Capital or corporate, whatever his designation is actually out of Wyoming. So, you know, the best thing is that he has a U.S.-based ventures corporation. I own Rackify Holdings, so I own a holdings company which has many DBAs underneath it, and that's a big thing. You know, and I own my own ISP. I own a piece of the internet. As an operator of the internet, not a user, an operator, we operate the internet. I can see where traffic flows, and I can confirm TikTok does not have any servers in China that's being routed. There's nothing there. So with them saying stuff's going to China, it's completely false. You've been in yes, I have been to NASA. Yes, I have been to NASA. This is real. Yes. Yeah, I've done a lot. I have done a lot. Look at the crowd out there, guys. Look at the crowd out here. Mission here. So this is a prototype launch of Starship. This is a Starship prototype launch. So tugboat, the time gets reset whenever. So what happened was we had to reset the time because a couple fishermen decided they were going to drive their boat in the no-go zone, and the Navy chased them down. The Navy chased them down and escorted them out of the area, so the time had to be pushed back about 30 minutes for the Navy to go out there. Well, Bob, it really... So the countdown kind of doesn't exist right now. The countdown originally was designed to get us to 8 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, because that is when the launch window opens. Anytime from 7 a.m. Central Time to 8:50 Central Standard Time, that it could launch any time between there. That is a launch window. Again, guys, this is in Boca Chica, Texas, down near Brownsville. This is going to be launching off of the coast into the Gulf of Mexico. And if all goes well, it will be landing in the Indian Ocean. Yeah, so it's not exact. So every countdown clock will be different, because when a launch window happens, we get our own information and go off of our best guess as to when something like this could actually launch. No worries, though. There is no one in this. Elon, yes. Yes, Elon would be... well, let me correct myself. Probably yes. Probably yes. Mission control for this, I believe, is still coming out of Hawthorne. I don't believe that they have a operations center here in Boca Chica, so I believe it would be Hawthorne, California. So this is a heavy launch vehicle. It's one of the largest rockets in the world. Amber, thank you. Stormy, thank you. Zoe, thank you. Thank you guys for the heart me's as well. If you send a heart me, it's the lowest level gift. It puts you into the member poll. So if you look at the very top of my name at the top of your screens, shows how many channel members there are. I think that's what they call it. It goes by members. Dude's reading headliners and thinks he knows something. No, I actually know all about this. I actually have qualified for my astronaut qualification through Possum. Yeah, so... No, I have been involved in a lot of different organizations. Possum specifically, Possum is a very, very great program that will basically get people into the role to become a NASA astronaut. Absolutely fantastic. A close friend of mine, she was actually just on the Virgin Galactic. She's been to space, actually, and it's thanks to Possum. Same program that I was qualified for. The point of the rocket today is hopefully to get to orbit into space. That is the big thing. Good song. A couple people asking about Possum. I will show Possum here. So this is what I was qualified for. Is it's Project Possum here. So they actually take you up in a T-38. You get suited up. You go through basically everything that the astronauts have to do here. Zero gravity training, hypoxia training, and see, there's the T-38 there. Only a few amount of people get selected per class, and that's something I'm qualified for. Just when I want to go finish it, I can. But yeah, so I know a lot. I know a lot. It's amazing. They hold it down at the Cape, down in Melbourne, Florida. Also, if you say the N-word, you get banned immediately. Saying the N-word is not cool whatsoever. Please don't say the N-word. So, the smoke that you guys see at the base of the rocket is the liquid oxygen, known as LOX, LOX. That is getting filled right now as we speak here. Mission Control will be coming on very shortly. We should have Mission Control up here. Bob, go to the Cape. One of my last times down at the Cape was I was doing some public relations stuff with SpaceX, and I was down at Coco for the Transporter 2 mission. And that's actually where it went up and the booster landed back at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Base on land. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the original ones to land back. And that was super fantastic. If you want to go down, Cocoa Beach is awesome viewing. I'll be down there for the Artemis 2 launch. We'll get media credentials, and we'll actually be on Cape property for that one at the major countdown clock. So, just giving you guys a little bit of a heads up. We are getting some updates here. There may just be a 23-minute delay coming in. I have to confirm it, but we may have a 23-minute delay here. So, just stay with us here, guys. We're gonna get through this phase here. This is absolutely normal. This is completely normal. This is a dynamic and fluid. This was not an instantaneous launch window. There is a launch tonight for Florida. If you live on the East Coast, specifically possibly South Carolina, Georgia, all of Florida, you'll be able to see a massive rocket launch tonight starting at 7 p.m., but that launch could be delayed until 11 p.m., so please do beware of that. I am going to sit here and also confirm timing-wise as well what the additional timing will be. So give me a second here, guys. Yeah, so, okay, clock has been synced now. We have a synchronized clock. I am not lying, no. You guys are super awesome. Tap that follow button if you guys are new here. Tap your follow button. Gavin, thank you. Eric, thank you. Dooney, thank you. Leg, thank you. Amber, thank you. Smith for Jesus, thank you. Dooney again. Becca, Tammy Tornado, thank you. Thank you guys so much. Just saw all those come across. You guys are absolutely fantastic here. Yes, like I said, we had to confirm it. As we can see, though, the fuel is there. The fuel is liquid oxygen. It's LOX. As I said and have said since the beginning of this stream, the launch will take place between 7 a.m. Central Time and 8:50 a.m. Central Standard Time. So this is perfectly normal. And they want to make sure everything is good to go before they launch one of the world's largest rocket prototypes and possibly kill someone with it. So they are doing their due diligence. TT, this is you don't gotta try to say something that's not true, bud. It's not hard to see that this is definitely happening. If you go on Twitter, it's probably trending, considering the guy launching the rocket owns Twitter. So yeah, it's gonna be trending on Twitter. Why does the time go up? The time is going up, like I said, because it is a fluid time. And they will only launch when absolutely ready. They don't want to accidentally kill someone. When you send this up, if this thing was to come down in many pieces and take out 1 or 2 oil platforms off the Gulf Coast, that's bad. That's bad. So they are ensuring everything is safe before launch. This is unmanned, yes, drinking cream soda. Cream soda is absolutely fantastic. It's not too acidic. It's early morning. It's not too acidic, and it's pretty calming. It's creamy, obviously. Better than Coke. I have Coke over here, but I don't want Coke. The island, yeah, they're showing the island. Yeah, see, we actually have camera feeds right up here. The news doesn't have these feeds. And if you look behind me, that's what the Washington Post is showing. That's live from the Washington Post. So, you know, I was like, wow, Washington Post is like, hey, we're live. And then it's like, we're not live. So, you know, what do you expect, I guess? What do you expect? But, yeah. So, this is what we have going on now. We got some thermal on the bottom left. Again, it will... oh, there is a blimp. They got a blimp out there. You guys see the blimp? That looks like a FirstNet blimp almost. That's interesting. That is interesting. Will you be able to see in California? No. No, you will not. That is a terrible name that's in chat. That is a terrible name in chat. Jesus. Rose, that's a good question. We don't know how far away you'll be able to see it. That's very dependent, and I'll be honest, we don't know too much about Boca Chica. This is only the 3rd launch. Supermodel, thank you. Kimberly, thank you. Gavin, thank you, guys. Again, tap that follow button if you guys are new here. Tap your follow button. We are very close to 230,000 followers. We're only a couple away. So be sure to tap the follow button here. Oh my God, what is it with these people? Oh my God. Hello, Amelia. Hello. You are not far away. Yeah, same guy with the alt. It's a guy with alt accounts that want to come in and try to say people deserve SA and all of that. Terrible person. How would you know if it blowed up? Because we'll have cameras on it. We'll have telemetry data. And we've seen him blow up twice before. Will this be thrice? We don't know. So guys, what we are doing is we're waiting for the experimental launch of Starship. This is Starship. Starship-3 to be exact. This is the third prototype of a giant rocket that's launching from Texas. There will be a launch tonight in Florida. If you're in or on the coast of South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, maybe even North Carolina, you may see a rocket launch tonight. That will begin at 7 p.m. your local time, which is Eastern time zone. Right now, this rocket will likely blow up after launch. This has a history of blowing up after launch, so if you are wanting to see some action, definitely stay on the stream. Miss Impressed, thank you. You will not be able to see this from Kelly. No, you will not. Why did the timer go up? It's a fluid timer. You can thank the fishermen in the Gulf of Mexico that decided to bust the keep out zone. So what happened is that a bunch of fishermen decided to drive their boat, paddle their boat, whatever, downrange of the rocket. The Navy was dispatched. Navy got out there and got them out of the area because they don't want this thing blowing up and falling and killing people in the Gulf. So that is why the time has went up. The time as a whole, though, you know, it's fluid. This could launch from now until 8:50 a.m. Central Time, 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time. That is why. That is why. So that is what we are doing, guys. That's what we are waiting on. It is available on TikTok and YouTube. We're live streaming on YouTube and TikTok here. This is not NASA. This is not NASA money. This is nothing to do with NASA. This is completely private. This is completely private. Everyone loves my playlist. Even when we're driving, people love the playlist. This is Lose Yourself by Eminem. Okay, as of 2 minutes ago, propellant load of Starship's upper stage is now underway, guys. So they are now starting to load the rocket officially. We should be good to go here, guys. We should be good to go. As of 2 minutes ago, Mission Control has confirmed propellant load is underway remotely. So this is beginning here. Tap that follow button, tap that share button, and obviously hit like. This is coming out of Texas, guys. This is coming out of Texas. This is the third flight. This is Starship-3. 2 previous ones have failed with a history of exploding. So that is what we have going on right now. There's no people on it. And we should not have any more delays. We should not have any more delays. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back, though. Okay, sorry, we had to get the AC turned on. The lights in the studio make it a little hot. Make it a little hot, guys. We're still good. In fact, my clock is a little wrong for a good reason. For a good reason. Let me try syncing this for you. There we go. Bumping the clock up for you guys. Blocking. We're good. Updating the clock there. Locking it in at a lower time for you. About 10 minutes till Mission Control hops in here, guys. About 10 minutes till Mission Control hops in. Supermodel, thank you. Kimberly, thank you. Miss Impress, thank you. Martin, thank you. Guys, tap your screens. Tap your screens. Tap the follow button and just share. Share this. We are locked in for, a launch. It's on fire. So, guys, we are doing this. We're locking it in. Let's do this, guys. Let's do this. We also have hit 230,000 followers. We have hit 230,000. Absolutely fantastic. CJ, David, Ethan, Stoney, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Time, so I actually lowered the time. So what happened was, for those who are tuning back in, there was a couple boats that busted the blocking zone, and the Navy had to come out and remove them. So it delayed it about 40 minutes. So that is why. Mary Ann with superpowers. Thank you, Mary Ann. King Mummy coming in with an I see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is Boca Chica, Texas. There is a launch tonight coming out of Florida. If you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, or Florida, you have a great chance of seeing a rocket launch from Cape Canaveral. Crystal, thank you for the disco loves. So, this is, there's just a lot of shadows, guys. For those asking what certain things are, there's a lot of shadows as well. Just be aware. Yes, the launch was delayed. Yes, but we are good. It's Cameron County, Texas. It's Boca Chica. The Boca Chica village was basically bought by Elon to turn it into Starbase. For those who do not know. No one is in it, no. This is, so what you guys are seeing is on the left side is actually the propellant. So the thermal is able to actually pick up them loading the propellant. We should also begin now loading the bottom there. You guys can see the very bottom is starting to get filled up now. So they're going to fill this up with the fuel, which is liquid oxygen and liquid methane. And we are going to be nearing on down. We're going to be pulling in the media feed from SpaceX as well, the media feed. So tap that follow button, tap the share, and hit like. Because this is about to go, guys. This is about to go. We're less than 40 minutes away, guys. We are less than 40 minutes away. We don't see them doing any more delays. This is it. And this is how billionaires play with toys. Yes, exactly. Is this real? Yes. Launch tonight is from Cape Canaveral. It was last night, but they scrubbed it till tonight. Yes, Garrett, they will. Correct, Josh. Yes, so they had to delay the launch. There's no more delays. There's no more delays. There's no more delays. This is today's launch, Alexander. This is Starship-3. Starship-3 got approval last night through the FAA to launch today with the experimental Starship-3. So yes. Again, the mainstream media does not like Elon Musk, so they're not going to tell you that this is happening. And yes, this is SpaceX. It's not taxpayer funded. You guys can actually see the fuel increasing. You guys are noticing it was just a white line. Now it is growing very, very quickly. Yeah, Chester Benning. Super sad with Chester. So they are filling it up. That is, you guys got 3 major sections of fuel being filled. The bottom, the middle, and then the top there. The thermal is on the left. You can see that in real time here. Mission control will be coming up very soon here. Yep, mission control will be coming in very, very soon. There we go. A little bit more synced up here. About 3 minutes, mission control will be coming in, guys. About 3 minutes. Again, we're simulcasting this live on YouTube and on TikTok. If you're new here, hit that follow and subscribe button. So this has a history of exploding after launch. So that is what we are waiting to see if what happens. King Mummy, thank you. Marianne, thank you. Crystal, thank you. Tim and Ron, thank you. Thank you, thank you. You guys are super, super awesome. Good morning, Shauna. Shauna. Again, guys, we are watching this out of the south tip of Texas. The south tip of Texas. Where are they going? They are going to be in... They're trying to get to orbit, okay? They're trying to get to space, but they haven't succeeded in doing such. So, this is the 3rd attempt at it. Hopefully it goes, because they want to try landing the booster, which is the bottom, and then they want to try to belly land the ship in the Indian Ocean. I don't make anything for follows. Subscriptions, I think it's like $1.50 a month per subscriber. There is no one on board. There is no one on board. Okay. Believe mission control is up. Ow. Ow. Ow, ow. That was yikes. So, Okay. So once they get through this here, we'll cut over you guys here. We have the broadcast feed coming up through SpaceX here. That was from Starship-2, I believe. So they've been testing a good bit. They have been testing a ton for that. The Raptor engines, everything that they have been really trying to succeed with. So, Starbase is based out of Boca Chica, Texas, and they have been working nonstop to build and stack all of these to get tested. They are wanting to make this, as you saw, the gateway to Mars, the future to get to Mars. So, this is what we're going to be witnessing today. As you see here, this is what we're going to see. There's a lot that's going to happen, and hopefully we all get those claps, and this will go off without a hitch. We do have the fuel commencing still. Keeping an eye on that here. This is a live view from a helicopter. 31 minutes to go, guys. We're going to tune them in.
24 seconds, awaiting our third flight test of Starship from Starbase, Texas, or what we here at SpaceX like to call the gateway to Mars. Thanks for tuning in. We're excited to be joining you from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
So it is Hawthorne.
It's been 100. You can tell the crowd is already excited behind us. Now, it's only been 117 days since our last Starship test. And for those of you following along, you'll know there's nothing more exciting, as you can hear, than to watch a developmental flight test.
That's absolutely right. Flight test days guarantee the maximum level of excitement, as you can hear behind us. And if it all goes well, Starship will lift off just about 30 minutes from now. We're hoping to surpass what we achieved in flight test number 2 back in November of last year. But regardless of today's outcome, the goal is to collect as much data as possible, and that'll help us get one step closer to a fully operational Starship. Now, Starship, which you see on your screen, is the latest and largest vehicle developed to date by SpaceX and in the world ever. Compared to Saturn V, the rocket that first took astronauts to the moon, Starship has more than twice the thrust, and with some upgrades that are planned for the future, it'll have 3 times the thrust.
Starship will allow us to fly the heaviest payloads ever flown, land humans on the moon again after more than a half-century, and ultimately fly humans further into space than ever before, even to Mars. But the most important thing about Starship is that it's designed to be a fully, rapidly reusable, reliable rocket, or what we like to call the 4 Rs, and we'll talk more about those later in the webcast. But before we dive into the details of today's test, let's recap the achievements of our last integrated flight test, Flight 2. All 33 Raptor engines on the Super Heavy booster started up successfully and, for the first time, completed a full duration burn during ascent. As you can see here, we saw amazing views of each Raptor engine burning during that ascent, which is something awesome because we don't get to see that with Falcon and its Merlin engines.
Now, next, Starship executed a successful hot stage separation, powering down all but 3 of Super Heavy's Raptor engines and successfully igniting the 6 second stage Raptor engines before the vehicle separated. This is the first time this technique has been done successfully with a vehicle of this size and scale.
Following separation, the Super Heavy booster successfully performed its flip maneuver and initiated the boost back burn. However, about 30 seconds into that burn, it experienced a rapid unscheduled disassembly, or RUD.
Told you.
That's SpaceX speak for an exciting end to the booster's journey.
That's what we could see today.
To be filter blockage, where liquid oxygen is supplied to the engines. So we've upgraded hardware inside the oxygen tank to improve filtration capabilities in our boosters, including the one that's out on the pad today. Vehicle breakup occurred more than 3.5 minutes into the flight, about 90 kilometers over the Gulf of Mexico, so well away from people.
Now, on Starship, the 6 second stage Raptor engines all started successfully at separation, and everything was going normally in the ship's climb to space until about 7 minutes into the flight, when we began a planned vent of excess liquid oxygen propellant. To simulate the mass of a payload and get future-focused data, the ship was loaded with extra propellant that we needed to get rid of or vent before re-entry. Once we started venting, though, a leak developed that caused fires, which eventually cut the connection between the flight computers on the ship, and that caused the 6 Raptor engines to shut down before we had finished the full burn. That was detected as a mission rule violation by the autonomous flight safety system, which triggered the flight termination system and led to vehicle breakup.
Starship's second flight test nearly completed its full duration burn. It ended at an altitude of about 150 kilometers and a velocity of 24,000 kilometers per hour, officially making it the first Starship to reach outer space. Like the booster, we've made upgrades to Starship's upper stage based on Flight 2 learning, such as improved leak reduction, fire protection, and changing the operations to increase reliability.
Whoops.
Now, back at the launch site, the new water-cooled flame deflector and other pad upgrades performed as expected, so the pad required minimal post-launch rework. And that's a big reason why we are ready to fly again today. The ground support systems are designed
tap
for
that
rapid
follow button if
turnaround
you're
of the
in
launch
here.
pad
Tap the
between
likes
flights,
and hit
the
share.
improvements we've made ahead of Flight 3 are getting us closer to that goal.
Almost there.
To today's test. The test profile and the burn timeline are very similar to test number 2, with one major difference. The ship will attempt to splash down in the Indian Ocean rather than the Pacific. This puts us on a steeper trajectory than past flights and lets us
Look how big it is.
That we'll need for the future, like lighting a Raptor in space while maximizing public safety. So let's take a closer look at the flight test profile.
That thing's insane, huge.
Now, about 26 minutes from now, Super Heavy will ignite its 33 Raptor engines and lift off from Starbase. About 3 minutes into the flight, Super Heavy's booster will separate from the ship in SpaceX's second ever attempt at a hot stage separation. That means it'll light its engines while still attached to a partially lit booster. The ship's engines will then remain lit for about 6 minutes during the ascent before entering a coast phase.
Next, the booster will perform a flip maneuver and execute a boost back burn, which, if you recall, is where Flight 2 Super Heavy experienced a rapid unscheduled disassembly. We're hoping hardware upgrades made for this flight will get the booster closer to executing a landing burn in the Gulf of Mexico. In the meantime, Starship will coast for about 30 minutes at altitudes between 150 and 235 kilometers, and the ship will attempt to fire a single Raptor engine for our first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space. And from there, the ship will head toward its destination, splashdown location in the Indian Ocean. Again, if we get past a successful stage separation,
it is almost full. Look at that, guys. It's almost full.
It will be at an added altitude and trajectory below orbital.
Hi,
meaning
Cheryl.
Starship won't have to fire its Raptor engines for a deorbit burn, and it will naturally come back into the atmosphere no matter what.
Now, meanwhile, the Super Heavy is going to attempt a landing burn before splashing down into the Gulf. And while we are going to practice a landing, we aren't planning to recover any of the hardware from Super Heavy or the ship on this flight. Now, with the exception of Falcon, this is no different from what happens with most rockets flying today that are expended or fall into the ocean after they complete their mission. Eventually, though, we will land and recover Starship boosters and ships, just as we do with Falcon 9 and Heavy boosters, where we've recovered 283 to date. Starship's rapid reusability is key as we begin missions to the moon and beyond.
Even though recovery is not planned, the telemetry and data we receive all the way to the end is what we're looking for.
I don't know how I feel about them littering in the ocean. I didn't know that.
The data that we gather today, of course, will help us continue to build a rapidly reusable Starship for the future. Now, much like our first 2 flight tests, today also still just a test.
This is coming out of Texas, guys.
And ultimately,
tap the follow button,
Starship.
share, and like.
That's exactly right. The primary goal for Flight 1 was to clear the pad, and we did that and got a lot of great data that helped us improve the vehicle and the pad infrastructure that you see today. The primary goal of Flight 2 was to get all the way to stage separation, which we did, and even got a little extra.
For Flight 3, we've added some ambitious tests highlighted by an attempt to transfer several tons of propellant between the tanks inside Starship itself, as well as the first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space, and the opening and closing of Starship's payload door. When Starship takes astronauts to the lunar surface as part of NASA's Artemis program, it will be refilled in space by a Starship tanker spacecraft before boosting itself into a lunar orbit, like you see here.
Wow.
Transferring a large amount of cryogenic liquid in space has never been done by anyone, ever. So we'll be looking to get data on some of the fundamental physics in play here, like managing pressures, temperatures, propellant settling, all as we prepare for eventual ship-to-ship transfers. The ability to refill starships once in orbit will be critical for landing on the moon and is a key technology for enabling deep space exploration and ultimately flights to Mars.
Now, we're also attempting the first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space, and we'll need that capability for future in-space maneuvers and deorbit burns. It's important to note that what we'll attempt today is not a burn required for Starship to re-enter on today's test. We are intentionally flying this new steeper trajectory so we can test things like engine relights without substantially changing where we expect to splash down. And if Starship manages to make it all the way to re-entry, we will collect valuable data on the vehicle as it flies through the Earth's atmosphere at hypersonic speeds, or more than 5 times the speed of sound. We expect it'll look something like this animation on your screen with the heat shield tiles facing down. We'll use the Earth's atmosphere to brake the vehicle and then get us into a controllable regime as we go towards splashdown. Now, we did validate Starship's ability to fly and land at subsonic speeds during our suborbital flights several years ago, and gathering data on the aspects like heating and vehicle control while we're traveling way faster will become critical to eventually bringing Starships back from space for rapid reuse.
We'll also attempt to open and close Starship's payload door for the very first time, a capability that we'll need when Starship starts flying our next generation Starlink satellites. And there you can see an animation of what that will look like as the satellites are deployed one by one through a slot near the top of the spacecraft. So at this point in time, we are approaching T-minus 21 minutes until liftoff. Let's check in with Dan for a countdown
Tap that follow button, hit share and like, guys. We have a rocket launch coming out of Florida tonight
I'm Dan
as
Hewitt.
well.
Good morning. Welcome to Starbase.
If you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, or Florida, starting at 7 p.m., I'll be live for a launch there as well.
Just behind the Mega Bay. Those are super heavy boosters right behind me, getting ready for the next 4 flights after this one. So we're looking to launch a lot this year. Countdown has been pretty clean so far. We're not tracking any issues that are gating us on the hardware side and the vehicle side. From that on-time liftoff at 8:25 a.m. Central Time. That's our T0 right now. We primarily shifted later as we were just working to clear the range. The other big watch item today is
this guy looks like a guy from McJuggernuggets, Jesse's brother.
We're still looking to be below our limits, but there could be a hold at T-minus 40 seconds just to make sure that the winds are acceptable before we go. We are actively loading propellant on board the vehicle. You can see by the frost line starting to build up. Looks like we're about 80% on the ship main tanks right now and a little over 60% on the booster. Now, Starship uses liquid methane as its fuel, liquid oxygen as its oxidizer. Both of those get cooled down to cryogenic temperatures, so several hundred degrees below zero. And if you followed along with our previous 2 flight tests, the prop load timeline today looks a little bit different. Those first flight tests, it took us about 90 minutes to load all of the prop on board. But since the second flight, we made some pretty significant upgrades to make that time shorter. We added some additional fuel and LOX pumps just to increase our capacity. We expanded the number of heat exchangers and installed a dedicated fill drain line for each stage. But they were sharing one before, now they each have their own. That's just that main pathway to get the propellant to the vehicle. We're aiming for about 51 minutes for today's operation to fully load prop. We did that successfully on our wet dress rehearsal that we did recently. Eventually, though, we're trying to get that time down to about 40 minutes. Just for some context, that's about 5 minutes longer than we take on Falcon 9, but we're doing it with 10 times
so
the amount
Florida
of
launch will
propellant.
be a
Now,
huge
the propellant load on ship started
Starlink
at
launch
T-minus
out of the
53 minutes,
Cape.
Booster right around T-minus 42 minutes.
So if you guys want to see the Florida launch, hit that follow button. I'll be live tonight for it as well.
And then switch back to close out the main tanks. We're expecting all of the prop to be on ship at about T-minus 3 minutes 30 seconds, and then booster prop load ends at T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, our final countdown and startup sequence is going to be the same as Flight 2. We already tested this on this booster when we did its static fire. Looking back for Flight 1,
Adeline, Vampire, thank you guys very much.
Off about 6 seconds
Shauna,
later.
thank you.
Flight 2, we reduced
Steve,
that
thank
time
you.
by almost 2 seconds. That just helps reduce the stress on the ground systems, improve the efficiency of the rocket. But right now, we're just about to pass 18 minutes away from launch. Winds, again, they're still looking a little bit marginal, so we'll keep an eye on those. We're not working any other technical issues, and the range is expected to be green. If we can't make our test today, we have backup launch opportunities in the coming days. Could be 24 to 48 hours, all just depends on how far we get into the count. So check back in with everybody in just a little bit. For now, though, I'm going to send it back to Kate and Shiva out at Hawthorne.
Show you guys. That
Thanks,
is
Dan.
the thermal
countdown
camera here,
is
guys.
continuing to
Vampire, thank
progress,
you.
So let's take a closer look at the world's most powerful launch vehicle ever developed. Starship is comprised of two elements, the ship, which has 6 Raptor engines, and the Super Heavy booster, which has 33 Raptor engines. Starship is capable of about twice the thrust of the Saturn V rocket, and with future engine upgrades, it will actually be 3 times more powerful.
Guys, we're
Now,
about 17 minutes away.
those
Tap
future
that follow button, hit
improvements, that'll allow
share.
Starship to carry somewhere
and
between
like.
150 and 250
Let's get this pushed up on the
metric tons to
FYP.
orbit, depending on the configuration. For reference, Falcon 9's heaviest payload to date is just over 17 metric tons. So at Starship, we're talking about an order of magnitude greater in terms of payload capability to orbit. And that matters
moves,
because
thank
the
you.
amount of mass we're able to launch per rocket is critical to creating a self-sustaining
Almost
city
there,
on
HD,
Mars.
yes.
In
16
terms
minutes
of size,
away.
The Super Heavy booster alone stands about 71 meters, or
North Carolina, you may
233
be able to
feet
see the
tall,
launch tonight
and
from
is about
Florida,
the same
yes.
height as a fully integrated Falcon 9. The
Thank
ship
you,
stands about
Chago.
50 meters, or 160 feet tall. Stacked together, the booster and the ship are by far taller than the Statue of Liberty, which stands at 305 feet tall with its base. Stacked together, Starship is 396 feet, so quite a bit taller there.
Now, Starship's first stage has a diameter that's about 2.5 times that
Look
of
at
Falcon
all of those
9,
engines,
and we've
guys.
got those 33 much larger Raptor engines, this great view of the launch mount looking up
That's
at those
huge.
engines. And we need them to power through the Earth's atmosphere and gravity to deliver those massive cargo and payloads up to space. Moving up the rocket, Starship is designed for vertical takeoff and landing on any hard surface, and that's as opposed to taking off and landing on a runway as aircraft do. And that's important because there are no runways on the Moon and Mars where we're going. The ship, which we're looking at now, features 6 Raptor engines. 3 of them are sea-level engines, 3 of them are vacuum engines. That means that those vacuum engines are optimized with a larger engine nozzle to operate in the vacuum of space and get us higher performance.
The ship is also outfitted with 4 flaps to help aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude during atmospheric flight and enable a precision landing. The body of Starship is also wrapped in a heat shield made up of 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles.
Steal the
Those are
moon.
designed to insulate the vehicle during atmospheric entry, where temperatures can be as high as 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit. One of our test objectives today is to verify how Starship systems and thermal protection system tiles perform during reentry. And in between the first and second stages is our hot stage, which is critical for our newest separation technique, which we saw in action during Flight Test 2.
Yeah, that was a pretty exciting first for our team. Hot staging had never been done before as part of a reusable space transportation system, let alone on a vehicle with the size and power of Starship. Now, at about liftoff plus 2.5 minutes, the booster shut down most of its 33 engines, leaving just 3 of them running, and then the ship simultaneously ignited all 6 of its engines. Some clamps separated, and the ship
Nation, thank you for
thrusted
the
away.
rose.
That was the first in-flight test of the heat shield, and we were able to gather a ton of valuable data about hot staging.
We maximize the vehicle's performance by leaving 3 first stage engines on, so gravity can't rob us of precious velocity, or at least not as much. Hot staging also helps to ensure the ship's liquid propellants are at the bottom of the propellant tanks, which is where we need them to be in order to quickly light the ship's engines. It also reduces risk at stage separation because it creates a passive staging system so that physics will be doing the work instead of mechanical parts pushing the 2 stages away from each other. Ultimately, hot staging could increase Starship's payload to orbit capacity by 10%, which directly translates to more payload and more people to the Moon and Mars.
Thank you,
Now,
Pete.
the first stop will be the Moon, and the SpaceX team has been hard at work proving out all of the systems necessary to make that possible. critical systems for propulsion, life support, and
guys,
even the
tap that
elevator
screen,
you
hit the
see
follow
here,
button, and hit
which
share.
will take crew and cargo from the Starship hatches down
We're
to the lunar
we're
surface,
at
are
13
currently
minutes,
in
guys.
development.
13
and the data
minutes.
that we gather from each test flight helps inform their design. Here we've got a photo of some of the mock-up suits that are used to demonstrate the range of mobility that astronauts will be expected to have. And we were using these to do human factors demonstrations and figure out the layout of the elevator.
D, thank you. King Mummy, thank you again.
Super cool. Now, SpaceX will perform one uncrewed demonstration flight before NASA's Artemis 3 mission, which will be the first human surface expedition since 1972. After those first expeditions, we'll be ready to fly more people along with everything it takes to build a moon base. There's so much to look forward to. It's incredible that humans are finally going back to the moon.
You couldn't have said it better, Kate. And the moon is just the proving ground. It's just the start. When the time comes to make the leap to Mars, everything
thank you,
ramps
Hooker.
up by
Big
orders
Hawk,
of
thank
magnitude.
you. Hendrix,
the
thank
logistics
you.
of supporting an entire
D,
city
thank
on
you,
Mars
buddy.
are
Thank
daunting
you.
and will require millions of pounds of cargo.
You guys are so
flown from
awesome.
Earth
Thank you.
And spread out over thousands of launches.
And today's flight test is one more step toward that ultimate goal. We're currently at T minus 11 minutes, 47 seconds. Let's check in with Dan once again for a countdown update.
Hey, Kate. Still good news from down here at Starbase. We're not tracking any technical issues that are
Awesome,
going to block us
guys.
to a launch. Our T0 time still holding to 8:25 a.m. Central, so just about 11 and a half minutes from now. The real thing we're going to keep an eye on is the winds once we get there. We do have that potential hold at T minus 40 seconds where we can hang out and either let winds die down, make sure we're in the right structural limits, everything like that. So don't be surprised if we do a hold at T minus 40. We've done those on previous flights, but we are not tracking any technical issues. The range is going to be green for launch, so all that really great news. We're still loading propellant on the vehicle, on the ship. We're just about done loading the header tanks, the two smaller tanks in the top, and then we'll go back to the main tanks. They're about 85% full, and then booster, both fuel and LOX over 80%.
Danny,
so
you know it.
good there. The
Colby,
launch
thank
pad
you,
itself
thank
is
you, buddy.
getting ready
Georgie, thank
for
you.
liftoff.
Jose
We
Cruz,
commanded
thank
the
you.
booster hold downs open already about 20 minutes ago or so. And then that just means that once that rocket has
Guys, tap that
sufficient
follow
thrust
button,
to
hit the
overcome its
share.
weight, your thrust to weight ratio goes over 1.
Tap
it's going
your
to lift
screens.
off.
Let's get
we
this
don't have
up.
a command to
Coming up
actually
to
release
10
the
minutes.
hold
T
downs
minus
once it
10
starts
minutes
up.
here very
Just
soon, guys.
also a reminder,
This is launching
actual
out
liftoff
Texas.
happens
If
a
you're
few
in
seconds after
Florida,
you see those
Georgia,
engines
South
ignite.
Carolina,
So
or
you'll
North
see fire,
Carolina,
and then a few
you'll
seconds
most
before
likely
Starship really starts to
see
take
a
to the
launch
skies.
tonight
Our range team just
out
gonna
of
keep
Cape
on making
Canaveral
sure
starting
land,
at
sea,
7
air,
p.m.
all clear
Eastern Time as
we
an
really count
FYI.
down.
I'll
But
be
that's
live
the
for that as
latest.
well.
We're just coming up on 10 minutes before launch. Everything looking good for Starship's third test flight. I'll toss it back to you guys in Hawthorne.
Great, thanks, Dan. Now, if you've been following SpaceX over the years, you've no doubt heard us talk about our goal of full and rapid reusability. Nearly all of the Falcon boosters flown last year and this year have been reused, or as we like to say, flight proven.
We've landed Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy boosters 283 times since first doing so in 2015. And with Starship, our mission is to take reusability even further by reflying both stages with little downtime between flights. And we plan to
The
fly
smoke
as
is
often
the
as possible.
fuel source, which
As
is
we mentioned
liquid
earlier,
oxygen.
Rapid and complete reusability is critical to enabling routine spaceflight. The team at Starbase has been hard at work developing and manufacturing the hardware that
This
will
thing is
ultimately take humans
as tall
back
as a
and forth to the moon
skyscraper,
and Mars.
basically.
Now, even though we are not recovering Starship today, test flights like these provide the critical data that we need through every phase of flight. And that data informs future missions and gets us to that future where Starships are being recovered and rapidly reflown.
Our teams are also working on the ground systems that will support rapid reusability. When we start recovering Starship boosters, we'll want them to return to the launch site for a quicker turnaround, as you can see here depicted in this animation on your screen. This is when the tower reveals its dual purpose. After launch, the arms or the chopsticks on the tower will help guide the booster into position to ensure a soft landing. Now, if you're thinking that this sounds hard or even impossible to do, well, that's the inspiration for naming them chopsticks. Some of you might recall a little film called The Karate Kid, where Mr. Miyagi famously taught the main character, Daniel, that if he could catch a fly with chopsticks, he could accomplish anything.
Now, today we do have 4 ships and 4 super heavy boosters built, with more coming off the production line as our Star
Just
Factory
me, thank you.
continues to
I'm
grow.
bored. Thank you,
These
Tyler.
vehicles are
Thank you for
slated
the roses,
future
guys.
Flight tests just like today's, and in fact, just this week we static fired our next ship that's planning to fly, and expect to test the booster as soon as the launch mount is free from today's flight test.
Now, as a reminder, today is still just a test. While we really hope to get our splashdown location in the Indian Ocean, but any data received will help us improve. It's the third of many future flight tests for Starship before it becomes fully operational.
And that's the goal of flight tests. They teach us about the limits of our design and improve our understanding
That's one
of the vehicle,
YouTube
and
streams
ultimately
behind me,
help us make
guys.
Starship more reliable and rapidly reusable. So whatever the outcome and however far we get, we can promise excitement.
Coming up on
And
7
things look
minutes,
like they
guys.
are
Tap the follow
moving
button and
fast
hit
at
share. We are getting
Starbase,
there.
and that's exactly how we
And
like
again,
it.
this stream
Yeah,
is brought
exactly.
to you
Iteration
by
is a key of SpaceX.
flytechcomputers.com.
We've done it with all of our major innovative advancements, including Falcon, Dragon, and Starlink.
If you need
We
any
believe that if
awesome
you're not
routers
failing, you're
or
not learning
access
and improving
points,
the design.
Yeah, many of the innovations
flytechcomputers.com.
that we've developed have come from our failures, and they teach us how to avoid the perils of spaceflight. It's a tough business. But all of this testing, all of the iterative design allows us to make the design better and better to do some of the great accomplishments with reflight that we've had so far.
Exactly. One of the examples that we love to talk about
Thank you,
is the
Bevies.
Dragon
Thank you,
capsule,
Tyler.
like the one located behind Shiva and I here on the mezzanine. Originally, it was not designed to be reusable. We wanted to prove the initial design, and then when we brought Dragon 2 online, we had to do a lot of corrosion analysis based on flights that had splashed down and analysis on hardware received there. And now our Dragons are reusable and also rapidly at a much rapid pace than they used to be.
Yeah. So, I mean, great learnings from our original Dragon to our new crew and cargo vehicles have directly improved the operations, and they've helped us change our understanding
Thank
of
you,
what's possible when
Adeline.
it comes
Shout
to
to God,
rocket and
haha, and
spacecraft
Arlen. Thank you,
reusability.
guys.
Now, we're just under T-minus 6 minutes, so I think it's another good time to check in with Dan for the rest of
Guys,
Terminal
it's
Count. How are we
coming
looking,
up.
Dan?
Hit the follow and share button.
Thanks, Shiva. We're looking good. 5 minutes, 35 seconds, and we're counting down. We are just about at closing the prop load sequences
Thank
on
you,
booster
Cheryl.
and ship.
Thank
Just a
you,
reminder,
thank
ship, we're going
you.
to close out at around 3 minutes and 30 seconds, booster at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Once all of that prop is loaded on board, we'll have about 10 million pounds of propellant on both stages of Starship. Now, after that happens, we'll go through a couple of different procedures with the ground. We'll do what's called pushbacks, clearing out the lines between our prop farm and the vehicles themselves before we get to launch. And then in the next few minutes, we'll get the final
Tap your
guidance
screens,
system
tap your screens, hit the
alignments, some
follow
final
button,
thrust
guys.
vector control on the booster checks. And all
we
that'll
hear
be
cheering in the
performed. And again,
background at Hawthorne.
If we need to hold, we have a hold gate built in at T-minus 40 seconds where we can hang out. It sounds like today we'll have about 15 minutes to hold at T-minus 40 if we need to. If we hit that right now, it looks like the most likely reason would be winds. We're not tracking any technical issues to our T0 at 825, just about 4.5 minutes
Let's
from
get
now.
it, guys.
So,
Leah,
I
thank
mean,
you.
everything's
Jules,
really
thank
looking
you.
good. The boosters
Again,
almost
there
in
is a
full
launch
frosty, so
tonight
we'll
on the
see that
coast of
close out
Florida.
in
If you're
just
in
a couple of
Florida,
minutes.
Georgia, South Carolina,
But
North
we're
Carolina,
getting
I'll
really
be
close to
live at
flight,
7
guys.
p.m. for a launch. I'll be live earlier before that, but launch
The
is
excitement is definitely
starting
growing
at
here,
7 p.m.
In Hawthorne, SpaceX headquarters, there is a large crowd gathering. You might hear them cheering occasionally. Now, Dan mentioned a good point about the holds. We have an opportunity to today hold for a few minutes. And this is a really cool thing about Starship. And we don't have this opportunity with Falcon or Falcon Heavy. Up until the T-minus 40 second point, aborts are just holds. So anything that would trigger an abort prior to T-minus 40 seconds becomes a hold. So that's a really cool feature to allow the team to wait for final checkouts or assess prop levels, engines, avionics, vehicle pressurization. It's really helpful to ensure a liftoff.
Yeah, and that's something that is very different from Falcon. I'm sure people have watched our launches, and then we get right
tap your
down
screens, tap your
past
screens,
prop load,
hit the
and then have to
follow
scrub
button. Let's
because
go,
of
guys.
weather,
Hit the
or
share
scrub because of an
button.
issue on the vehicle. And
Let's go, let's go,
we
let's
don't
go.
have the same constraints on our propellant and our system.
I'll let you know if we have a
Starship,
hold here.
which gives us more availability in the window. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes the winds dip just enough where you can launch the rocket safely.
Let's go, 3 minutes,
and otherwise,
guys.
if you didn't have that ability to hold a few
Tap,
minutes,
tap, tap,
you might
tap,
miss
tap,
that
tap.
window and then have to recycle to another day.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of like today. Like we mentioned earlier, winds are the thing that we are watching, so good news there. So we are still continuing
It's your
to
Uber
progress.
driver.
We're
Get
looking
in.
at liftoff in just
Right?
under almost 2.5 minutes from now. Super exciting. Like we said before, there's nothing more exciting than watching
3,800.
a test
Thank you.
flight
3,800 of you are in here.
program, and that's
Tyler,
where we're
thank
at
you.
today.
Z
And
Pixie,
like we
Diamond,
talked about,
Tim,
we
Alex,
have
thank
some
you,
really
guys.
ambitious goals for today's test. But really, the point of today's test is to try to get as much data as we can so we can inform the next iteration of
Do
the
you
design
sleep?
of
No,
Starship,
I do not
work
sleep.
those things into flight test number
Tap your
4
screens,
and
tap
new
your
objectives
screens,
there
guys.
That'll eventually get us to that
We're coming up on
glorious, rapid,
2 minutes
reusable future that
remaining.
we
Alex,
so badly
thank
want.
you.
Yeah, for flight 1, we wanted to clear the pad, and we did. For flight 2,
Propellant
we wanted
loading
to get
is complete.
through hot
Starship
staging
is fully
separation,
loaded
and
with
we
more than
did. So
4,500
today, we wanna get
metric
even further
tons.
than that and
That's
collect as much
10
data as
million
we possibly
pounds
can.
of
So with all
propellant
that
in
being
that.
said, we're gonna
There's
check back
10
in
million
with Dan,
pounds
to take us
of
through the final
explosives
2 minutes of
in
terminal
the
half.
rocket. 10 million pounds.
All right, we are under 2 minutes away.
10 million pounds of fuel.
We
Look at
have closed
SpaceX
out the
coming out of
prop load on the
Hawthorne,
booster and on the
California
ship.
at Mission Control. Tap your screens, hit the follow and share button, guys.
We're starting to hear some good news that it looks like winds are not going to hold us up.
We
so
may not have
there's
a
good
hold,
chance we
guys.
blow right through that 40-second hold.
We may not have a
So we're
hold.
about a minute and 20 seconds away.
Tap your screens, tap
Just
your
walking
screens,
you
hit the
through
follow
one
button. Let's
last time.
go.
We're gonna see the
If you're in
engines
Florida,
ignite
you're going to have a
about
launch
4
tonight.
seconds, before
If
we
you're
hit
in
our
Florida,
T0.
you're going to have a launch
They're gonna
tonight.
ignite
Many
at 3
people are going to
different
see
banks.
it.
You'll
Many,
get
many,
13
many
of the inners,
people.
15 of the outers,
We're
and the last
entering the
5
1-minute
ignite just
terminal
2 minutes
count.
before T0. And then after that, the quick disconnect.
There
will
is a
retract.
good chance this could explode,
The
guys. There is a
engines will
huge
start to
chance this
throttle
could
up, and then we'll see
explode.
liftoff about
Tap
a
your
second and a
screens,
half
tap your
after T0.
screens.
So we're under a minute away. Don't be shocked if we hold at 40 seconds before, but it sounds like the winds are cooperating today.
I think we're good.
We'll
Let's
be able
see.
to move right past that, not tracking any other technical issues that could
No
hold us
hold,
up.
no hold, no hold. No hold. We're good to go. 30 seconds on the clock, guys.
Escape past the 40-second hold.
Go for launch. Flight director has just confirmed to go for launch.
Flight Director Ty Huntington telling the team we are go for launch. So 20 seconds to go.
Let's go.
Let's listen in.
Ready for launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
2, 1. Let's go. We have liftoff from Boca Chica, Texas. Starship-3. 10 million pounds of fuel going through 33 Raptor engines right now. Absolutely insane. This is the 3rd prototype.
30 seconds into flight, we are feeling
Tap the follow
rumble.
button,
We
tap
are
the
seeing
share,
33
guys.
out of 33
Let's get it,
Raptor
guys.
engines ignited on the Super Heavy booster.
Booster and ship, avionics, power, and telemetry nominal. Acquisition of signal, Corpus Christi.
Continuing to get good call outs. Our trajectory looking nominal. Systems looking nominal. Just
Awesome.
amazing.
Again, this
to see
live
all
stream is brought to you by
33 lit up once again.
flytechcomputers.com. Flytechcomputers.com, giving away free routers with access point
At
purchases.
this point, we've already passed through max Q, that maximum dynamic pressure,
Wow.
and passing supersonic. So we're now moving faster than the speed of
They're
sound.
now over Mach 1. They're
Getting
now
those
over
onboard
Mach
views
1.
from the ship cameras.
Look at that, guys. Look at that.
Now the next major milestone is going to be a hot staging maneuver.
You can see
we're
each
gonna
engine.
be doing that in just about 90 seconds. To do that, we're going to shut down all but the 3 center Raptor engines on Super Heavy. That'll be our MECO, our most engines cut off. And then the clamps holding the 2 stages together are going to release. Starship second stage will ignite.
Don't go
its
anywhere,
engines,
guys.
The RVACs first. The sea levels right after that. The sea level engines will be
Akira,
splayed
Alex,
or just
thank
kind of
you for
pointed
the
out at
ICU.
about a
Thank you.
15-degree angle. So if you look close and we get good tracking, you might be able to see those center right after.
Wow.
And so those 6 engines will push Starship off of the booster. All right, counting down now. We're going to be coming up right at around the 3-minute mark on that hot staging maneuver.
Let's see,
Again,
guys.
we'll
Let's see
the
what happens.
Booster engines start to shut down. You'll see all but 3 lights
Now
go
over
out
the
in the
Gulf
middle,
of Mexico.
and then we'll see the engines ignite on ship, pushing it away. And that will start carrying the ship into space. Booster will start to do its flip and then move into the boost back burn, setting
It's
it
almost
up
in orbit,
before
guys. It's
eventually
almost in
splash down
space.
in the Gulf of Mexico.
Stage separation.
Hey, stage separation. Yep, they got it. They got it. They got it. They got it.
Boost back startup.
They got it. Let's see. Let's see.
Hot staging confirmed.
There it is in the background, guys.
Booster's now making its way back, seeing 6 engines ignited on ship.
That's awesome.
Kate, we got a Starship on its way to space and a booster on the way back to the Gulf.
This is awesome.
Oh, man. I need a moment to pick my jaw up from the floor because these views are just stunning. These are live views from Starship. First stage is currently performing the
Ship
boost.
avionics, power and telemetry nominal.
Good there, news informing us that the second stage or the ship, everything looking good, nominal there.
Wow.
First stage is currently performing the boost back burn, expecting that to last about 1 minute. That boost back
Chamber
burn,
pressure is nominal.
that boost back burn propels
The
the
launch
booster
is
back
only the
towards
first part,
coast,
guys. Don't
taking
go
it to a
anywhere.
landing
The
in
landings
waters
is
of
where
the
it's
Gulf of
at.
Mexico. We're only using the Super Heavy boosters 13 center engines from here on out. As whenever they relight, you'll be able to see that in the left bottom corner. Those are the ones that can gimbal. In other words, they move and change direction in order to change the thrust to steer the first stage back to Earth. Wow, these are just incredible views coming to us. Everything is looking good for both the first stage on the left-hand side of your screen or the Super Heavy booster, as well as on the right-hand side of your screen, that is Starship, or we also refer to that as the ship.
This is awesome, guys. Absolutely
Now, the boost back burn was the first of 2 burns required to return it to Earth.
The first
The
stage
next
is
one
falling
will be
back
the
to Earth
landing
right now.
burn,
It is
where
now
all
falling
13
back to
center
Earth in
engines will initially
retrograde.
ignite and then transition into a 3-engine burn to help slow it down. Now, just as a reminder of the Stage 1 test objectives, we're looking for controlled ascent, which
Mary,
we
thank
have
you.
so far.
Corey, thank you. Mr.
Stage
Thank you.
separation,
Cap,
which
thank you, thank you, thank you.
gorgeous. We cruised right through it, as well
Vehicles
as
on a nominal trajectory.
Shooby-doo, thank
good
you.
news there telling us that the path that Starship is on is good. Now, Starship's second stage
Yes, this is a
still
prototype.
firing its engines, and as you heard, following planned flight path, the ship objectives, we're looking for hot staging, again, cruised right through that. We're looking to demonstrate controlled ascent, as well as orbital insertion.
Wow.
Now, the bottom right-hand corner of the screen shows the ship engine graphics, so be sure to keep an eye on those.
Yep, Kate, like, this is
Fantastic
just
here.
a phenomenal test so far. Super Heavy is performing beautifully today. It's
Cat,
on its
thank you.
return leg
Krista,
of the
thank
journey.
you. Cheryl, thank you. Grumpy, thank
Ship
you.
continuing to burn its 6 engines, those larger circles, the Raptor vacuum engines, the inner circles, the Raptor sea level engines. We're about 30
You
seconds
wouldn't see stars
away,
with aperture. Any
just
photographer
under
would
30
tell you.
seconds away from the
Acquisition
start of the boost back burn.
The grid fins
Excuse
are
me, the
working
landing
now.
burn on the booster.
That's helping
You
steer
see
this
grid
through the
fins
atmosphere.
rotating. Those hypersonic grid fins are guiding us through the atmosphere back towards our splashdown site. Again, we're going for a for a splashdown, a soft splashdown. So for landing burn, we're going to expect to see the 13 center engines light, rapidly bring down the booster's velocity.
Here she
and
comes!
then
Here she
just the
comes!
3
Here she
in the
comes!
center for splashdown. Let's
Here
see
she
if that'll
comes!
work.
You can do it! You can do it! Come on! Come on, you can do it!
We're getting a few engines.
Oh. Okay. Got something? Something?
An acquisition of signal. Let's see if we can get some other video of that. Now, this is a test objective today. It is still something that we're attempting to learn. And to make it that
This is
far,
what
to
we're
demonstrate
waiting
the
for.
controlled re-entry up to that point is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Ship continuing to look nominal with its
That's fine.
ascent
That's okay.
burn.
This is real, yes.
This burn lasting about 6 minutes total.
Guys, tap your screen, hit the follow button, hit
And
the
we're
share
expecting
button. Let's
that
get
this
it, guys.
burn will end
It's 4,800 of you in here.
just
Thank you,
after
Jamie,
T
Chuck.
plus 8
Thank you,
minutes, about a
guys.
minute from now.
Cat.
So far, though,
thank
I mean,
you. Cheyenne,
congrats
thank
to
you.
the team. Making it
Notification,
this
thank
far
you.
is farther than we've gone
Absolutely.
on Flight 2.
Well, it's not us. If you
Wonderful
guys
views
saw,
and great engine performance
if you guys
from
saw
the
the
vehicles.
timer on SpaceX is going up, it wasn't our connection. That was a SpaceX issue.
So far, we've hit controlled ascent. We're in the middle of that right now. We demonstrated the hot staging. Kate, as you said, cruised through that.
Look at Hawthorne,
We
guys.
demonstrated controlled entry of the booster. Just stopped a little short of the engine relay, but hey, that's something we can learn for the next one.
Yeah. Now that view that we just had moments ago was a live shot of Star Command.
There's
There
2
you see it
million
again.
people
This is,
watching
our mission
this
control center
feed
at Starbase,
right now through
where
SpaceX.
vehicle
2
operators
million
are
people
standing by.
watching
Now the
this.
next milestone coming up is in less than a minute. At that point, ship will, or I'm sorry, actually it already has.
This is SpaceX, not NASA.
There we go.
Awesome!
As you
Complete
heard
shutdown.
there by the call out and from the crowd behind us.
Yes.
Starship's 6 Raptor engines have successfully shut down.
Yes. You will not see stars in space with the camera. That's due to the
Insertion,
aperture.
which is incredible. Look at these views, Dan.
Yeah, you won't
I'm
see stars in
just
space because the
completely blown away
aperture.
right now. What a day. Congratulations to the entire SpaceX team. I mean, this flight pretty much just started, but we're farther
Guys,
than
wait
we've
till
ever been
re-entry
before.
on
We've
this.
got a
This thing's going to be
Starship,
coming
not
in
just
at
space,
Mach
but on
5
its
through the
coast
atmosphere,
phase
burning
into
up.
space.
Just wait
Just
and
to
see.
recap where we've come, and it's only been 9.5 minutes. How has it only been 9.5 minutes? We lifted off right on time at 8:25 a.m.
Tap
We
your
didn't have
screens,
to
hit
hold
follow
at
and
our gate
share
at all. We
because
had
the re-entry
33 out
of
33
Starship is going to
Raptor
be where
engines
it's at.
open up,
You're going to want to see the re-entry.
and light
Trust me,
and get
guys.
us through
Trust
a
me.
nominal ascent. Another successful hot stage. All 6 engines on the ship propelling us into orbit. We did see what looked like a nominal boost back burn. And then we did make it all the way to the landing burn
Ace,
this
thank
time.
you, Zach,
Didn't
thank
light
you,
all
James,
the engines
thank you,
that we
562,
expected, and we
thank
did lose the
you.
booster.
You don't know,
We'll have
thank
to go
you.
through the data to figure out exactly what happened, obviously. So
It's about
be
to
on the
re-enter,
lookout for
guys. It's about to
information about
re-enter.
that. But wow, a ship in space. We've got a bunch of, as we said, ambitious objectives ahead of us over the next couple of minutes and pretty much over the next hour, where we're going to really. We've got the ship in space. We're now going to take advantage of this and try and learn as much as possible about some of the other systems
Zach, thank you, buddy.
including that first ever Raptor relight in space. So it's just going to be incredible. So all of that still to come. The mission just started, but wow.
Absolutely fantastic, guys.
What a liftoff. What a hot stage. What an amazing sight to see Starship there in outer space.
I can't believe we're seeing it in space. This is awesome.
Wonderful.
Now, we are going to be coasting for the next about 30 minutes or so. We'll be back around the T plus 40-minute mark. And that'll be Starship continuing to coast, hit those ambitious test objectives, and then continue on to re-entry.
I want to see the payload
We're not totally
doors.
sure what video that we'll get, since that normally comes to us as we overfly ground stations, and we don't have a ton of those along our trajectory. But as we have video, we'll be sure to bring that to you.
I want to see how payload
Starlink
works.
may
The
be
payload
able to bring
doors.
us additional communication paths today that will allow us to talk to Starship through re-entry with no communications blackout period. It's a possibility, but either way, we will be live for all of today's milestones. And of course, when we do have
Acquisition
views,
signal, Puerto Rico.
especially like the ones that we have now, which I just cannot get
Wow.
over.
That's
When we
fantastic,
have views,
guys.
we will be sure to bring those to you live. But no views or no views, we'll see you back here at T plus 40 minutes.
Pez door is opening.
Hey,
And there we just heard call it that Pez
Ooh.
door is opening, so that's great.
awesome. There it is. There's the payload
One of our
door.
test objectives today is to open and close that Pez door. That's where we will deploy Starlink satellites from in the future.
This is
So
great,
news
guys.
there
This
that
is
that
great.
test
This is SpaceX. This is
excuse me,
SpaceX, not NASA.
that
SpaceX.
test objective is already underway. So come back here, stick around till T plus 40 minutes for coverage of Starship's deorbit burn demonstration, followed by its reentry and what is sure to be an exciting
Once
splashdown.
they're off mic. Okay, so since they are off mic here, you're gonna see some views from inside Mission Control. So what you see is SpaceX. Pretty much everyone that works for SpaceX is up here in the top left, and they are actively watching this. A masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece. This has been a super, super, super awesome experience, and this is the future of space travel. Instead of sending up 3 or 4 rockets to get something done, they can send one Starship up for like SpaceX. Cheryl, thank you. D, thank you, and everything. Thank you for the superpower. So, guys, I saw some people questioning my one thing here about this get a free router through Flytech computers. So, Flytech, everyone's been thinking like all this hacks going on. Ubiquiti has some awesome routers, and they actually have some deals going on. Basically, you buy the Wi-Fi antennas, the Wi-Fi access points, and you'll get a free router depending on how many you buy. That's why I put that up. There's a lot of people who have been scared about the whole hacking thing, and Ubiquiti has amazing firewall. So I personally use Ubiquiti, and a killer deal like that, the routers are about $500, and they're giving them away for free. The routers themselves are about $500, and each access point's typically about $200 for Ubiquiti. So it's a steal. You know, you get 8 $200 Wi-Fi access points plus a $500 router for less than $1,200. That's a steal. Yeah, it's free when you buy the access points. Thank you, Akira Alex. Thank you. Georgie's, thank you. Apple, thank you. Well, it's all your routing and firewall. Ubiquiti's huge. What is a green hat? I think it has something to do because Sunday is St. Patty's Day. If you guys didn't know. Get your Irish on. Miss Toy, thank you. Thank you, Miss Toy. Super, super awesome. Yes, St. Patty's Day is Sunday. I'll do this for you guys. So I had to mute it. It's just elevator music. SpaceX is hitting us with the elevator music, so I just have it muted. I'm listening to it, though. I don't want to bore you guys out because it's a loop. I think it's a little bit of a troll from Elon Musk. But, yeah, so everything is awesome. I was expecting to have a lot more issues. I truly was expecting to have a lot more issues with this. So, being able to see this get done, super fantastic. Super fantastic here. And they're going to try to get some additional signals coming back as it enters over Africa. And we're going to see this thing come through the atmosphere, basically burning up upon re-entry. And we're going to see how well it actually holds up. We do have mods in here. Hey guys, we got some video or of something. We got something here. I'm not sure what this is. They're not talking about it, but we got some sort of video coming back. Is this the payload? Is that the payload door? That looks like the payload door. That looks like pistons to open and close. I could be wrong, but that appears to be the payload. Is that the fuel bay? With the fuel bay, I figured that they would have some sort of liner in there, some sort of bladder, if you will. Again, guys, tap your screens here, hit the follow button. We have a launch tonight coming out of Florida, Cheryl. I don't know if you're ever in Gainesville or not still, but should be able to see it from where you typically are. I'm not lying to you. They're playing elevator music for us media members. That's an Elon job. Let's be honest. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, Gainesville, I think that's on the west side, on the west coast of Florida, if I recall. I could be wrong. It could not be. But I think it was, because so I looked it up on a map, and we just had in the middle. Okay, in the middle. Because we just had the... guys, it's the payload. Look. It's the payload. They just had the Crew 7 astronauts come flying through and land on the Gulf. Look at the payload, guys. They are able to... Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's the mother load. Launch night, the terminal count will begin around 7 p.m. Eastern time. 7 p.m. Eastern time, but it could take until 11 p.m. to launch. So just give yourself that 4-hour span. Fiona, thank you for the confetti. Thank you. I should be streaming it. I typically always do stream. Yes. Guys, we are at over 231,000 followers. That is absolutely insane there. Growing my account up here. Simulcasting this out to YouTube as well. Appreciate it. No problem, Bunny. No problem. Elon loves the 80 sounds, right? Right? I read his book. I read Elon's book. It was a cool book. It was a short book, but it was a cool book. Hey guys, we got some video. Of them rolling it. The heat shield is on the right side. It's the black tiles. That is what is going to... It looks like a snake skin almost. That is what's going to be coming through the atmosphere here. We're sitting at about 223 kilometers. There's a little bit of fuel left in the tank here. So we're just waiting to see what may happen upon re-entry. If Biden bans TikTok, what happens to all your followers? They stay because TikTok in itself is not getting banned. Kevin O'Leary already said he would buy it. So, re-entry is going to be in a couple minutes here, guys. It was, we probably got about 20 minutes to re-entry. Yeah, and they can sell it to Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary has already said in multiple interviews he'll buy TikTok. They will sell. They will sell because the only money TikTok gets is from U.S. advertisers. The only money TikTok has is from U.S. advertisers. So why would you do that? Business says no. Business is going to say sell. China's going to sell. ByteDance will sell. That's a guarantee. Because their only money paying them and giving them a salary is coming from the U.S. Oh, yeah, the gifts as well. I also found out if you gift creators on TikTok, apparently if you go through the computer, it's like 40% cheaper, or you get 40% more coins than over the app. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I have been told. So because they were taking about 60 to 70% of whatever you buy gift wise to give creators. So they get money that way too. They get money from advertisers. And here's the thing, gifts are only available in certain countries. Canada didn't have gifts for the longest time. It was just America. So you know, oh, I don't know what happened there. Hello, I still have audio. Okay. Hello? I have audio. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. And something ain't right. Something ain't right. Okay. I have no idea. TikTok suddenly popped up saying, "Would you like to change your audio device?" And I was like, "What?" And I'm looking over here, and because I need to make sure the elevator music's not getting put out on YouTube, because I don't want to get copywritten and get a strike on YouTube. I have no idea. Yeah, and Nintendo did that too. Nintendo has Nintendo of America for that exact reason. They're a Japanese country, and America don't like Japanese because of the whole World War II and Pearl Harbor, and yeah. So, Nintendo played it safe and created a company in the United States. Binance did that too, as cryptocurrency. And Binance, here's the thing, Binance, the reentry pod, I do not. VWeb, yeah. See, at least I worked for CBS for several years. See, at least I'm nice to not give you guys the elevator music. I'm actually nice to not do that. Unlike mainstream media that don't care because they probably have it unattended. They probably put it up and forgot about it. Correct. They're basically forcing China to sell, yes. What were you going to say about Binance? So Binance is a Chinese country. CZ, who is the CEO, is Chinese, and Binance is a Chinese country, obviously. They're a Chinese cryptocurrency exchange. And the big issue is that the government basically overlooked that entire situation, and you're dealing with massive amounts of money and finance and whatnot, and nothing really ever came of that. But poor old TikTok comes along. You're stealing our data because my phone connects to Wi-Fi and your app uses Wi-Fi, so you're stealing all my data. And it's like, China owns America. I said that about 40 minutes ago on the live stream, 50 minutes ago. I said China owns America because of the amount of debt we have to them. We're never going to be out of debt. China owns us. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if BlackRock owns part of ByteDance. I would not be surprised whatsoever. BlackRock and Vanguard, and I think see something, they'll buy these massive companies. They'll buy the massive amounts of companies. Oh, telling you guys, we still got the elevator music. Yes, they did launch Arturo. Yes, you can go back and watch my live stream on YouTube. You can scroll back and watch it. We'll look at Rockstar Games, Rockstar London, Rockstar Games, Vancouver. Rockstar did that. And here's the thing. If you look at the internet exchange points for ByteDance, they don't have anything Chinese related. They don't have servers in China that handle data through the application. The issue is you got people in Congress who are career politicians that are 70 and 80 years old who don't understand how the internet actually works. They're not doing a full orbit. They just went up. They went over Africa. They're going to be landing off the coast of Australia. Fiona, thank you. Heather, thank you. Skylar, thank you. You guys are awesome. We're almost here, guys. We need a couple more followers to push us over that 50. Okay, it looks like we may be losing some altitude here, guys. If you take a look, we're at 233. It was 234. We're waiting to see if this starts to pitch down. As we can see, the vehicle is currently in this pattern. When it comes in, it should be in this pattern to burn off a good bit. Thank you guys for those followers. Thank you, thank you. Who is that behind you? No one. That is called a 75-inch TV. Hey, look at you. I'll be honest, I did not realize how many conspiracy theories are like going on with this. So what happened? We are waiting upon re-entry here. We got the occasional views coming in. It looks like we could be losing altitude. We were at 234, now we're at 230. We got to see if this continues to go down. Seeing if we're on a re-entry path. We should be, I believe they said 40 minutes. T plus 40 minutes, I believe, is when they're going to be returning. Door's closing, guys. Door is going to be closing. Mission Control just said. So they sent the commands to close the door. The booster made it through the atmosphere. Hello, how are you? Hello, Ingrid. Hello. Thank you for the super chat on YouTube. Hello, we're doing fine this morning. Hope you're doing well. Just watching the re-entry process here for SpaceX's prototype rocket. No, Tristan, this one. So right now, Bunny, thank you for the ICU. Tristan, this one. So this is Starship. They're not landing on a pad per se. They are in the process of just making sure it can survive through the atmosphere, and then it will. Oh, gotcha. No problem, Macaulay. Hello. So yeah, they're not landing on pads for this. Yeah, something odd happened to the audio. I don't know what it is. I think there's a Windows update that's pending, and I just haven't done it yet. I think that's the issue. I think that's the big issue here. So, that's all. That is all. Nothing to be concerned about, though. Nothing to be concerned about. You're good, David. You are good. A Windows update, really? Yeah, they always come over. Steve is sabotaging you. That That dang Lookner. Ooh, hey, look at that view. Look at that view. Beautiful. Bunny, thank you so much. Rocket ship's going to be coming down. Rocket ship. Not shit. Rocket ship is going to be coming down in probably about 12 minutes. About 12 minutes we should see this. Maybe a little bit longer, but no, we're losing altitude. We're down to 222 now. She's coming in now. She is falling back to Earth. Oh, Eddie. Eddie thinks this is CGI. He thought CGI was also a rocket that we physically have watched go up and come down. But it is all CGI to some people. Yeah, see, Dingle, this is why you don't go to the mainstream media. You go to me. Because I'm not going to end a stream on you. I'm not going to end a stream. How do I get a free router on that website? You order your access points. So if you order the access points, which are practically, they're reduced price to begin with, you get a free router with it. Router is worth anywhere from $300 to $500 plus. It's a great deal. It is going into the Indian Ocean. Is that space degree? Do you mean debris? Because what happens is they use liquid oxygen, and when you use liquid oxygen, what happens is that it forms ice. And so what they're going to do is, as it's moving, it's going to knock that ice loose. Think of you in the wintertime driving down the road, and the ice is falling off of your vehicle, and it splatters. You know, that's basically what's happening. Where is the audio? It's elevator music right now. We're waiting for them to come back, the host. Oh, see, that's the elevator music. The altitude is, yes. So it was 234 and now it's 213. So it's definitely coming down in. Yep, and if you look here, it's going to try to get into some sort of position. Right now, it's just rolling. So what they're doing right now is they're rolling it manually, and they're collecting the data to see what delays are like, how it's performing. Oh, I want to go to space, someone said. I'm at NASA right now, Johnny Boy says. It's like launching the Statue of Liberty. It is. It is. It's huge. It's tall. It is so tall. It is extremely tall. Are they alive? Yes, because it didn't crash and there's no one aboard. This is unmanned entirely. 10 million pounds of fuel for liftoff. Yes, there was 10 million pounds of fuel for liftoff. How will it land? Belly first. Belly first. Think of a beached whale just coming straight in. They are not recovering it. They're not going to recover it. The Burj Khalifa, a third of the size, maybe? A third of the size, I would say. Hello, Loyal. Yeah, the World Trade Center is taller, yes. Yes. The World Trade Center is, was it 1,776 or so feet tall. Yes. Also, I don't quite know what... It has to be a Windows update that's causing these audio drivers are crashing out. I don't know what's happening, but who knows? No, this is going to the Indian Ocean off the coast of Australia. Well, I mean, the American government sinks ships, and what they do is they become natural coral reefs. Over years, they become coral reefs. So, I mean, while it's bad, it's also good. Yes, Paige, that was for Tuesday night. So the video going viral now was for the astronaut reentry, which was early Tuesday morning. I believe it was Tuesday morning. This one is going to the Indian Ocean. And then we have a launch tonight that's going to be landing in the Atlantic Ocean. There's a lot of launches happening. Oh, really, Aiden? That's cool. Okay, we're at 188 kilometers. She is still just free floating in space. We are nearing the re-entry, guys. We're coming down and nearing re-entry. I don't know what's going on. I do not understand what's going on because my TikTok video, my re-entry video continuously is the astronauts landing, and I don't know why TikTok continues to show that video. I am not understanding it whatsoever. I don't know why they keep showing it. Okay, guys.
Which lifted off from Starbase, Texas at
Here we go, guys.
8:25 a.m. Central Time.
There we
Our
go.
main objective today was to get through all of our ascent burns and collect as much
Can you
data
guys
as
hear that?
possible, including a potential Starship entry. And we just came out of a coast phase and were treated to a number of HD views thanks to Starlink, including the PEZ door open-close test. So that was one of our test objectives today that we met. So that's awesome. It has been such a great day.
It has been a phenomenal test day. Just to see booster lifting a Starship to ascent, ship completing its ascent. Just a wonderful day. Kind of to recap the objectives a little bit. Booster completed its ascent, ignited its 33 Raptor engines. We demonstrated a successful hot staging for the second time. Booster completed the boost back burn, didn't quite accomplish the landing burn, and then had a hard splashdown in the Gulf. Meanwhile, ship completely successful after the hot staging. We had a good 6-engine burn of the Raptor vacuum engines and sea level engines. And then we've commanded a number of demonstrations, including the Starlink satellite deploy demo, so the payload door, as well as a prop transfer demonstration. We do still need to do some data review on those, so as we get that data back, we'll be sure to update you on social for how those tests went. We are coming up on our next major milestones, which is an in-space relight of our Raptor engine for the first time, followed by re-entry and then landing in the Indian Ocean.
Incredible.
Woo!
Yeah, that's right, guys. We should be just about 40 seconds away, 40 or 50 seconds away if we do this relight demo. Do want to stress this is not a deorbit burn. In fact, it's actually going to function a little bit opposite of a deorbit burn. We're going to be raising our perigee with this burn to the lowest point of our orbit. This is just to demonstrate that we can relight a Raptor engine on ship while it's gone through a coast, while it's in outer space, while it's in microgravity.
Guys, here's where we see if it fails.
Complexities that come with lighting this engine again after it's already done an ascent burn, but you're now coasting through space. This is going to be really important anytime we want to do in-space maneuvers in the future, like eventual deorbit burns, any of our translunar injections that'll have Raptor engines firing back up. we may not do it. There is, all of the guidance is loaded into Starship's computer itself, so if it doesn't see the values that it needs to, we could just skip the burn. So we are waiting to find out if that's going to happen or not. If it doesn't, as we said in the beginning, we're on a pretty steep trajectory that we are coming home no matter what, regardless of doing a burn. This was done just so we can really, we're in a trajectory that's really not super susceptible to delta V changes in velocity. If we were to do a burn, we've got a pretty concise footprint in the Indian Ocean that we're going to be targeting for splashdown today. It does sound like we are skipping past the on-orbit relight demo this time. Again, we'll confirm all of this through our post-flight data review, but it did sound like we did pass through that burn. So now that's going to start setting us up for re-entry.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So coming
Cheryl,
up
thank
next
you.
around T+49 minutes is Starship re-entry. Now, this is typically a portion of flight where we don't have communications with
They're not
spacecraft
recovering
because
it.
they're re-entering the Earth's atmosphere at or around orbital velocity.
I have no idea what causes the multi-track to go out. I'll have to take a look and see what it is. I have no idea what causes the multi-track to go out. I think it's the update. I think it's the Windows update that needs done.
That blanket of plasma distorts communication frequency, so we're basically left with a brief communications blackout. Now, we might get some telemetry back through a connection to the Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System, also known as TDRS, but if the plasma doesn't entirely block it, that connection will be at a very slow data rate and definitely too slow for any video.
But that's why Starship and Starlink are a great partnership. Starship is so big that it will leave a wake or a hole in the plasma field as it flies through an atmosphere. You can think of a wake kind of like when you see a boat going through the ocean. It sort of leaves
Hey,
a
looky.
trail behind it.
Looky.
There's some of those great views from Starlink, giving us views of Starship's onboard videos. And so we're hoping that the Starlink on board will let us, just like we're seeing these videos now, see through that plasma field by maintaining a continuous communication lock with the satellites on orbit.
This will be
through the
cool
wake
if
that
they can
Starship
do
leaves
this.
behind. Now, this is only the second time that we're testing Starlink during re-entry.
Acquisition
So
signal
even though we
confirmed.
do have these great visuals now, don't be surprised if we manage to get some signal hiccups through. We're still learning about what that wake will actually look like in practice and whether we're able to get that live continuous high-speed data during re-entry.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the really primary reasons we want to use Starlink is to just gather as much data as possible.
Here
It's
we
been
go,
said,
guys.
The data is the payload.
It's 125 kilometers and falling
where
into
we're
Earth.
just-
Free
we're putting this flight hardware
falling.
in a real flight environment, trying to learn about it as much as possible. Re-entry is going to be a really critical phase of flight. We really want to know how the ship's going to perform, especially that heat shield, as we're going through the hypersonic re-entry. So if something were to go wrong
which is
during
cool
this
because I think
re-entry,
we
want as many paths as possible to collect that
there we go.
information, that data, just to, again, just continually feed back into the Starship program to make...
I am testing out. There it goes again. I have no idea what's causing the audio, except unless it's a Windows matter. But we are going to be testing our own thing here. We're testing our own. Look at that. Look at that, guys. That is
Now, Starship
beautiful.
manages to make it all the way through re-entry. We'll collect valuable data on Starship flying
Got
through
some
the
debris
Earth's
coming
atmosphere
off there,
at
it looks
hypersonic
like.
speeds, meaning more than 5, or at this point, will be more than 5 times the speed of sound. Now we're watching these live views, HD views by the looks of it, thanks to Starlink.
Yeah,
you
beautiful.
can see that the flaps there on the ship might be actuating.
Yeah. That's your heat shield tiles, guys.
Certainly some incredible visions of planet Earth behind Starship. Now, we've already validated Starship's ability to fly and land at subsonic speeds. You might recall those suborbital flights from a few years ago, and we can see those flaps there. getting data on aspects like heating and control while traveling way faster
This is
than
awesome.
we did before is going to be critical to eventually bringing starships back from space for rapid reuse. So I mentioned those flaps. That's one of the things that enables Starship to help control itself and survive the heat of reentry, which, like we said before, we're
Typically
expecting that
no, Edwin,
reentry
no.
to occur around T plus 49 minutes.
Yeah,
so we're getting pretty
Badger,
close here.
yeah.
And what you're seeing here, it looks like the vehicle is sort of moving back and forth. Part of what you're also seeing is one of the cameras, this onboard view that we have, is on the end of a flap. Starship has front flaps and rear flaps.
Oh,
in the
it's on a
vehicle.
flap.
So we've got 4 of those. And, oh man, we can see the heating on those flaps as we're starting
looky,
to
looky,
re-enter
looky.
the Earth's atmosphere. This is where the Earth's atmosphere is doing the work to
Wow,
slow us
look
down.
at it.
Now, like we said, this plasma
Hey,
field
we got video.
Wow, what a view. We hope
Look
to
at that,
maintain
guys.
These views
We
throughout.
got video
Starship is
as
so
for
big
re-entry.
that we're
Look at
hoping
this.
The plasma field doesn't entirely blanket
Wow.
the entire vehicle. Right now, it is not. The
Wow.
Starlinks are
Views brought to you by Starlink.
Yeah, the Starlinks are still communicating and still
Wow.
capturing the data and the video that we see
You almost
here.
never see this.
I mean, Shiva, this is just absolutely incredible views. We've never seen anything
Thank
like
you,
this
Stormy,
before. This is
Kraken.
the
Thank
biggest
you,
flying object
Crystal. Thank
ever
you,
in space.
Cheryl.
Absolutely, Kate.
Look at this, guys.
And
This
it's
is
important to
you
note
don't see
the
this.
ascent burn that we
You
did
never saw
was to
this with
get us
Space Shuttle.
to orbital
You've never
velocity,
seen this
even though we
before.
were on a
That is
nearly
the
orbital
plasma.
trajectory. So the heating and the loads
Look at
that
this.
Starship is
Look
going
at
through
it.
right
It's
now
surviving the
are what
heat.
it would be getting if it were recovering from an orbital
Look at
mission.
this.
And just the fact that we
It's
have
surviving
these
it.
three, this is incredible.
Yeah. Again, this is the furthest and fastest that Starship has ever flown.
Can it get through a communications blackout? If this thing goes through a communications blackout, this changes space
The
travel
heat shield tiles
forever.
doing their work. We talked
Forever.
about
It will change
earlier.
it.
Up to 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit that those heat shield tiles are dissipating as we are re-entering.
Yeah, now this was one of the critical, or
It's
rather
a-
the key
it's
mission
surviving
objectives
it.
that we were hoping to hit today. We have never, like I said before, this is the fastest and furthest that
Because
Starship has ever
they
flown.
could
So
attach
is the
this
first
to
time
the
that we're getting
Artemis
to
upon
collect this
re-entry and
data
still have
understand how
constant
these
communication through
18,000 hexagonal
Starlink
heat shield tiles
to
are
mission
working
control, and
together
it's
to
surviving
protect
it.
the belly of Starship as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. Once again, the
If you can
atmosphere is doing
prevent
us
a
big favor.
communications blackout globally,
The atmosphere is actually doing us a huge favor here by acting as a braking system.
yeah, we're almost
for
through the
Starship,
atmosphere. We're at
as it
78
re-enters
kilometers.
the
We're almost
atmosphere.
through the
And that's part of the
atmosphere
reason
here.
why the flaps are so important. We're using the body of Starship and the drag from the atmosphere to
We
slow
still
it down
still
from
have
orbital speed.
a link.
But you want the vehicle to remain stable. You want those heat shield
still have
tiles
telemetry.
pointed down.
Okay. Okay.
So they can absorb the heat of the Earth's atmosphere.
Okay. It looks to be
and
back.
So that's the purpose that they are serving during the hypersonic.
That's still awesome. That's still absolutely awesome here. 26,000 kilometers per hour. Over 26,000 kilometers per hour.
Plasma builds. We're hoping that we can bring these views back to you, but you can see the telemetry there on the right-hand side of your screen. If you watch closely, you can see the speed decelerating. Again, that's the friction of the atmosphere resulting in this plasma field, or excuse me, the blanket that is potentially blocking the Starlink terminals right now.
And this is
So
all
we'll bring
within
those views back
50
to you
minutes of launch. It's all within 50 minutes of launch.
push on Flight 2, getting to it today. So just awesome.
Now, we actually have some heat shields here. So these are what's doing all the work on Starship right now. There are 18,000 hexagonal heat shields like these. So this one that I have is flat, like this is what would be positioned on the flaps of Starship, whereas Shiva has something a little different.
Yeah, the one I have would be on the curved surfaces of Starship. I'll just put it in frame here. So we've got these attached at various points around the vehicle. Like you said, Kate, 18,000
Guys, tap
of
that
these
follow
tiles
button and hit
around, and they're
the
doing
share.
the work to make sure that the structure of the vehicle doesn't carry all that thermal load, so we can recover the vehicles eventually and get to rapid reuse on them.
They're really lightweight. They sound a little different than I would have expected them to, but they are ceramic. And these are what's helping Starship survive through this period of entry. We're not sure how far we're going to make it. Again, this is the furthest that we've gotten in our test flight, but the further we fly, the more data that we can get, and that's ultimately the measure of success here, which, I mean, I think today has been a huge success given where we've gone and how much further we've gotten with both the booster and Starship itself.
This is
And one of the
amazing,
beautiful
guys.
things about Starlink on board the vehicle, we were getting that high-speed video. High-speed video is a very high data rate, and usually video comes after you get your telemetry. So hopefully we were able to get some wonderful data throughout the entry period, which is normally something we have to wait for until after splashdown when we get that data off the data recorders.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned before the flaps. Again, that the flaps are protected by the flat heat shields like I have. There are 4 of those positioned on Starship, 2 at the forward end or the top end, and 2 at the bottom or aft end. And they operate independently to aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude or positioning during atmospheric flight and enable precise landing at the intended location. So today we are intending to splash down in the Indian Ocean, and we're hoping that we can make it that far, but regardless, it is an exciting end to what has been an exciting
This is
day.
great, guys. This is absolutely
And,
great.
I mean, we've had some tests in the past. We had suborbital campaigns where we have tested out the aerodynamic flaps at subsonic speeds. So that's below the speed of sound. At hypersonic speeds, well, supersonic speeds first, so faster than the speed of sound, and then hypersonic speeds. So that's more
Yeah,
than 5
King,
times
from
speed
the
of
reentry,
sound.
we did.
The
Now, they may
equations of
have it
motion
over there,
change, how the
but
vehicle
we
responds
can't see
changes.
that. We're
So
getting what
going
the
through
media
that
feed is. We're
control
getting the
phase
media
where we're going
feed.
from
So
faster
they
than
may
the
see
speed of
something and
sound
we
to
don't.
below the speed of sound was one of the objectives
Yeah.
today.
And that's actually a great point because we are expecting
Correct, Melanie, yes.
that entry subsonic period to occur around
The heat
T+1
shields are the
hour,
most important.
and 3.5 minutes. So we're not there yet. We're about 10 minutes away from that point. So again, that is when Starship would be
65
traveling
kilometers.
slower than the speed of sound thanks to the atmospheric braking system.
And so right now we're still waiting to see if we're going to get data back from this ship. We might be in a bit of a blackout period right now. So still waiting to hear the status on it. But yeah, we got to the actual entry portion of today. We started into peak heating, which was just a really big milestone. Starship is pretty unique in the way that it re-enters, especially for something reusable. The closest parallel has been the space shuttle. When we're comparing Starship to like when we bring a Falcon 9 booster back, we're talking about 20 times the energy given the velocity
What's
that we're
up, buddy?
moving at, and all of that energy just gets converted into heat.
When are you making
then
a
we need to
Discord?
use
It's
those
been on my
tiles to
website.
just
We have
help
over
dissipate that
1,500
heat. They're not
people in it.
ablative like
Discord.gg
you would see on something like Dragon,
/breaking
which
news.
uses an ablative in the capsule shape. So there are
King,
these
so they're
tiles
not
that are made to be
recovering it,
reusable.
so may
any data
not,
we're
but
getting
we
on
should
the
get
actual
video
temperatures
from
it
the
was seen
camera
during
on the
heating,
actual
all of that
ship.
is just really hugely valuable. Where Starship is really unique is, and Kate and Shiv have talked about
say,
it a
it
couple
should
of
be
times,
down by
is
now.
once we're through this kind of hypersonic section and we get down to the subsonic. And that's where we really learned a lot and proved that Starship's really just its basic shape could work. And we did that during the suborbital campaign. Again, if you compare it to the shuttle, which
it is
entered,
real.
had
This
the
is
wings,
completely
it had
real.
a similar heat shield system, but it had wings.
No, this did not happen
and then
Tuesday
was
morning.
almost
This happened
flown
now.
like a glider once it re-entered and was down
Tuesday
to
morning
those
was the Crew
subsonic
7
speeds.
arrival in the
With
Gulf of
Starship, we're
Mexico,
not
which we
doing
were
that.
live
We're just
for.
coming
I was
straight
live for
down.
that.
We'll hit terminal
This
velocity,
is real, Mark.
which with
Yes, this
Starship
is real.
around 200 miles an hour. And then we use a flip maneuver to ignite those engines.
This
do a
was
landing
the
burn,
Starship-3
and then
test.
touch down on the ground. So you don't need a runway. We're doing that, again, designed because when we go to the moon, when we go to Mars, there's not going to be a runway there for us. And so that propulsive landing is going to be really
it's
important.
completely real.
This is an animation.
That's
of
that's
pretty
an
much what we were
animation
just
to give you
watching
enough
on
idea.
actual Starship
If you guys
video,
were
which is
here
pretty
about 5
incredible.
minutes ago, we actually
But we
had
go
video
through peak
from
heating.
the
One of the
re-entry.
benefits of today's trajectory, actually, we got closer to what the heating profile will be on just a normal mission when you compare it to our previous flights, which were headed out to Hawaii. So we go through peak heating, and then we hit subsonic, and then Starship splashes down in the ocean. Again, we're not doing a landing burn on this
Discord.gg
and we're not expecting
/breaking
Starship
news.
to survive the impact. We're not going to be recovering any of the hardware. For now, though, we are just still waiting to see if we're going to get some signal back. We're currently at a loss of signal with Starship. Don't know for sure what its status is, and so we're just continuing to listen in. But it was pretty incredible seeing the flaps really do their thing to maneuver the vehicle as it's moving
Starship
through hypersonic.
launch number 3. Starship launch number 3. Ted the Snowman, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Starship is wings can be
you.
pretty heavy, and so if we can really demonstrate that Starship's controllable through that hypersonic regime when you're coming through the atmosphere, 25 times.
Because
the speed of
it's a
sound,
lot different going
you can save a
out
whole
than
lot
it
of
is
weight
coming
by not having
in.
really big wings. So super valuable to get this data. Super valuable.
The atmosphere likes to let things out. It doesn't like you to break the atmosphere coming back in. And that's just science. That is just science. I'm gonna block you because I already know. That you're here to cause issues. Not into the conspiracy theory side here.
See it today, but during the Orbital campaign, we did the flip maneuver and then light our engines for a landing burn. That's also really important for some of our other terrestrial destinations. That we don't have as much of an atmosphere on Mars. There is pretty much no atmosphere. There's some great views from our previous test campaigns of a landing burn and upright landing.
Yeah, this was one of their old test launches.
There is no atmosphere. On Mars, the atmosphere is extremely thin, so you actually need some other sophisticated techniques that other landers have used to land there. And so this vertical landing technique is really important to landing on destinations like those, which is ultimately where we're trying to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope to demonstrate
it's not CGI.
That landing in future missions.
I've seen this in person. It's not CGI.
We wanted the ship to focus on opening and closing, the first demonstration of opening and closing the PEZ door, which is where we will deploy Starlink satellites from in the future, as well as gathering data on how the heat shield tiles performed during the entry period. And so far,
well, Blake,
all of that
good thing this isn't
really
NASA.
Well.
This has nothing to do with NASA.
Overall, it's been pretty great, and it's great to see how those initial tests that we performed a couple years ago for those high altitude tests allow us to see
anyone who
what
wants
those
to
will
say,
look like in
oh,
the future,
well,
but
the Earth is flat. Great. Buy my ticket,
if
send me up, and let me prove that it's flat or not flat. But no one ever wants to pay for my ticket to go up. There's commercial flights that you can take now for space. Virgin Galactic. Buy my ticket. Let me prove it.
How do we get Starship to survive orbital
Megan,
velocity,
people don't like NASA.
Entry,
people don't like NASA.
We hope to find out soon.
And when I say buy my ticket, then they get all defensive. I'm like, no, if you want to spew stuff, buy my ticket. I'm independent. Let me go see it.
But there's only so much you can do in a chamber where you're trying to simulate the atmosphere and exactly.
Elon's not NASA.
So
no.
there's nothing quite like when the heat shield tile hits the atmosphere in flight to gather that wonderful data and prove out some of the
it's about $500,000.
Things that we didn't quite get right.
It's about $500K.
And obviously, for those of you that have been watching along with us, those were incredible views to see of that entry period where we saw the heat generating.
This is news. This is massive news.
The belly of Starship was, making contact with the Earth's atmosphere, and that resulted in some plasma. So, as Dan said before, we believe that we're in a bit of a blackout period at the moment. We are expecting the vehicle.
Exactly, Ashley. Exactly. People don't like Elon. People don't like NASA.
Subsonic or slower than the speed
I agree.
of sound.
He is the new Von Braun. He is.
In 3.5 minutes from now. So if it's still up there in one piece, it still has a way to go. We're not
kilometers
there just yet.
away is
But we
space.
saw that plasma field building up around the exterior, which can blanket the entire vehicle as it does with
There you
all
go,
of our Dragon
Crystal.
missions, and we're at a loss for telemetry at that point in time.
Yeah.
So
Dan's seen a lot
I
of
don't
those with,
I don't
with
understand
Dragon
why
missions
some
that he's
people
supported.
want to.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, my block list is probably thousands of accounts blocked because I don't put up with it.
We are hearing through some of the telemetry that we did. It did look like we lost Starlink and our TDRS data flow at the exact same time. Now, if both of those signals are cutting out at the exact same time, that could mean we lost the ship. It has been several minutes since we've gotten any data
Yeah, I
from
was gonna
Starship.
say.
We are waiting just a couple more minutes.
So we
just to
may
see
have
if we can
lost
get any
the
additional
vehicle.
confirmation, but that is one data
Kenny,
point
you're
that
getting
we're
blocked.
tracking,
You've been in here
and
for
that
at least
could
an hour trying to
indicate that
spew
we had a
some
loss or a
some
breakup of
wild
the
ass
ship during
shit,
that
bud.
re-entry. So
Enjoy the block.
might not make it all the way to splashdown today, but we were able to get through
Thanks,
the
Cheryl.
early
I was just about
phases
to
of
grab him.
re-entry, hit some of that peak heating, which was just really incredible to see a Starship coming back from space after getting all those views from space.
So
for the
I think
very
we
first
lost
time.
the heat shields, and it
So
probably
we'll just keep on listening
yeeted,
in on the
is
loops
what I
here, see
think.
if we hear anything over the next couple of minutes, and that might bring a close to a pretty successful day so far. So again, we did lose the TDRS. That's the tracking and data relay satellite. That's the satellite system that pretty much every spacecraft operating in orbit right now will use to get data. We were able to get some signal through that, and then we were also getting data back through Starlink.
yeah. So I mean,
Live view here
We
of
got-
mission control down at Starbase. So these are all the folks who are
so that is Starbase mission
experts on
control.
the various different
Okay.
systems, taking a look at the live
I thought
data
that was
we did
Hawthorne.
have.
So they have their own down here. That's cool.
Probably in mission mode still,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it would be so tough to stay focused with what an exciting day we've had
Right?
today.
Yeah,
Right?
To quote Monty Python, I'm not dead yet. We don't know, as Dan said. We did.
I'm not
lose
a
connection with
Freemason.
TDRS,
I'm not a
which is the
Freemason.
Tracking and data
I'm not a
relay
Freemason,
satellite
just so you
system,
know,
and
bud.
Starlink at the same time. So it is a realistic possibility that we lost Starship, which honestly
Would
was
make
always on the table. We didn't know how far it was going to get. The further we could fly and the more data we could collect was always the biggest win.
There we go.
And so regardless of
There we go.
if we
Maybe
did
a little
lose the
more.
vehicle and we are not able to make it all the way to our intended
Cool.
splashdown.
There we go.
Note that we weren't intending to recover this vehicle, either
So-
vehicle, the Super Heavy booster, nor
It looks like we lost the
Starship. We
vehicle,
weren't
guys.
intending to recover
Unfortunately,
either
it's
of
been
them.
quite a
They were
while. It
both
looks
going
like we
to,
did lose the
basically
vehicle.
hit at terminal velocity
Which,
and break
it,
up upon
like they said,
contact
it's not
with
the end of the
surface
world.
of
They
the
expected
ocean.
it. They got all the
So we're
data
standing
flows
by
they
to
wanted.
hear,
They got all of
whether or
that,
not,
the data flows.
we
There
are gonna
is
be able
going to be, I'm going to
get
turn them down
telemetry
here.
readings
There
back,
is going to be a
but we
launch tonight
are,
coming out of Florida. If you are in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, or Florida, you have a great chance of seeing what was a scrubbed launch last night is going to be launching tonight. Launch window opens at 7:04 p.m. Eastern Time, and it could extend out it to 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Launch window, like you saw today, if you've been in live, it opens at a time, and then it can be delay. So, don't be surprised. But they got 3 additional rockets in the making, as you just heard, 4, 5, and 6. So they're going to enact different changes that need to be done with such rockets, and we will see how that all goes through. I mean, I really expect it to really come in as gangbusters, if you will, you know. So we have a lot going on. I will be trying to stream it, Megan. Yes, I will be trying to stream it. Yes. The rocket did launch. So the booster came back down. It crashed into Gulf as expected. And then when you looked at it further, we had amazing views from Starship. We were able to see through the plasma. Something must have happened to the heat shields, which would have led to complete failure and loss of the vehicle. But we were able to get telemetry for the longest time, and I mean, it lasted about an hour. Which is absolutely great. We were able to really see this thing come through, and It's not the hey girl, you're seeing an old video. I do space videos all the time. It's not my fault TikTok and the algorithm is showing the Crew 7 re-entry. It has nothing to do with this launch. This was there's launches every day, okay? There's launches every day. I try to cover as much as I can space-wise. I do news, I do space. In all honesty, I love space, but when it's a slow news day, there's always a space launch. So, you know, I try to stay relevant being that way, and it works, you know.
Kate and hey Shiva, we were just hearing on the loops.
Oh, yeah,
We are making the call now that we have lost ship 28.
Yeah.
So, as we were possibly expecting, we lost the data a couple of minutes ago. We haven't heard from the ship up until this point, and so the team has made the call that ship.
So ship is completely gone.
Today,
Big swerve. Flytechcomputers.com. You just pay for the access points at it's a discount, and you get a free router depending on how many access points you buy. Super awesome. It's a great deal when you compare it to like Amazon prices. Super cheap. Great question. Melanie, thank you for the comments. Thank you.
Everyone always wants to know right off the bat what happened.
Stormy, we had some video from the Gulf of Mexico. We got some video as well from the ship coming back in over the Indian Ocean, but it's they're just saying that the ship is a loss, and that they have 3 or 4 additional ships they're going to be preparing and trying to get up. Edwin, no, it was probably a good couple hundred miles off the coast of Australia in the southwest.
And with that, we got to say a huge congratulations to our teammates.
Yeah, Melanie, I honestly, if you're not a big IT person, look at it's their 5 access point package. It's a $300 router you get for free. And, you know, you basically pay for the access points and you just run Ethernet cable to them. And it's like a whole mesh network, or if you really wanted, you could get them and then sell the rest of them if you only want 2, for example, and you walk away with a free router and you just sell the access points, you know?
Very happy birthday. The company was founded on this day in 2002 when it basically consisted of...
Yeah, and the routers are great. It's Ubiquity. Ubiquity is running many businesses now, so many homes. It's all really good quality. Thank you, Sofa King. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Sofa King, coming in with all the confettis. Big Swerve, thank you as well. Thank you. So yeah, honestly, this is what I would do. Get the what they call the UDM, the Ubiquity Dream Machine. It's the 5 access point one, the Nano HD. I have it downstairs. I was gonna do some more videos on it, but yeah, just do that. You do that. Keep 1 or 2 of the access points. Sell the rest of them. You get your money back. You get a free router. It's really awesome. Yes, it did, Mark. Yes, it did launch. Yes. And yeah, so this is Flytech Computers. This stream is sponsored by them, and they have their March Madness now. They have a couple different promos you can go on to, but honestly, five access points. These are typically about $180 each, and that's about $300, $350. So you're walking away with a hell of a deal. And use 1, keep 1. Keep 2, sell the rest. You'll get your money back. You'll walk away still saving a ton. So this is what we did here as well. You know, you get 8 of these. Granted, we would only need 3 of them. You sell the rest. You walk away. That's $500. That's almost $600. You get that for free. You sell these. You basically make over 75% of your money back on it. That is free, Diamond. That is free. This price here, that doesn't even account for 8 access points. 8 access points are typically more than that. You're getting a free, free? You get a free UDM SE. That's free. Probably, Edwin. Yeah, probably, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So, that stream is sponsored by flytechcomputers.com. They're based out of Doral, Florida, down in Miami, so it's not No catch. There's no. They're listed under Ubiquiti as an official dealer. They're a distributor for Ubiquiti. Right. I run Ubiquiti, and it's absolutely fantastic. They have the unified dashboard is so nice, and it's secure. It's a firewall is what it is. When you look at the unified dashboard, like, they have apps for it, but you can see everything about your network. You can see practically everything about your network, and it's so awesome. Speed, you can see what type of traffic's coming in. It can block stuff. You're welcome, Melanie. You are welcome. Yeah, we've used them for years, and they work absolutely amazing. It's flytechcomputers.com. It's where the red text is. flytechcomputers.com. You go in, if you were to go into any IT group and say, hey, is this a good deal? Like a Facebook IT group, those geeks and nerds would be like, oh my God, where's that deal at? They're on Amazon too, but the deal is off of Amazon because if you didn't know, Amazon, if you sell on Amazon, they take like 20% of the sale. So instead of them jacking the price up extremely on Amazon, they're like, why don't we just ship directly and say screw Amazon and all their fees? Edwin, if we get a video of it, I will share it. If I get a video of the breakup, I will share it. Yes, if we have videos coming in, yes. Have a good day, Melanie. But thank you, guys. Guys, I am going to go take my nap so that way I can do some more filming and then get ready for tonight's live stream. So thank you guys very much for everything. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys have a great, great day. And again, tonight is another launch coming out of Cape Canaveral, Florida. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you all. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.